Okay.
Okay. I'll wait for a few people to come on and then.
Yeah, just take your time. Do it the way I'm at your disposal. Just
Okay.
take your time. We got plenty of time. I'm all ready for this.
Okay. Thank you. So we're live, and I have Sophia Stewart on the phone, the creator, author, owner of the Matrix and Terminator movie franchises. If y'all are familiar with her story, then I'm sure you know who I'm speaking about. If not, we're going to be discussing some of that tonight, as well as other things, and she will also answer some of you guys' questions. So I'm going to let her speak and introduce herself and tell you guys all about her new book, The Matrix 4, that she's getting ready to turn into a movie. And it's also available for you to purchase. And I put the link in the description box below. So
let them know it's both physical and ebook.
It's an ebook, and you can order a physical copy as well. So, Sophia, I'm going to let you talk to YouTube and say whatever you would like to say.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Sophia Stewart, and I am definitely the creator, the author, and the owner of the Matrix and Terminator movie franchises. You guys have been lied to. The studios and Andy and Larry Wachowski and Gail Earhart and James Cameron have pulled a Milli Vanilli and a Houdini on you guys. You do remember Milli Vanilli, the singers who were lip syncing? They did not sing those songs.
Mm-hmm.
And these people, Andy and Larry Wachowski and James Cameron and Gail Earhart, have given you guys lip service. Because you guys have never seen them on any major network talking about they wrote The Matrix and Terminator and that I was lying.
Right.
Never, ever, and you never, ever will, because it would be a deposition that could be used against them in a court of law because they stole federally protected copyrighted work, a script and book that was adapted into all of these 8 movies and different merchandising and products.
Mm-hmm.
And Houdini, you remember Houdini and Chris Angel
mm-hmm.
and David Copperfield and David Blaine? They are musicians, and what they do is create illusions, and that's what they have been doing for years, is lying to you guys and creating all types of illusions. And lots of those illusions and lies and ignorance is on the internet and with fake news.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of trolls on the internet smearing and confusing you guys and talking about an old California case back in 2005 that was just dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
Dismissed means just shut down to keep these people from going to jail. Never went to trial. They didn't win anything. I didn't lose anything.
Right.
It was meant to be dismissed so they wouldn't go to jail. And this is why I filed the second court case in Utah against my 4 attorneys, but I also brought up the issue and the same defendants that was in California that had terminated out of the case early by the judge crookedness.
Mm-hmm.
They never even got the dismissal. They were so scared of the RICO, and RICO is a racketeering case where I was trying to put them in jail. They were so scared of that case that they terminated out through the crooked judge some way before her ruling. They didn't want to take a chance to go to jail.
Right.
So they entered into the Utah second court case that had went on from 2007, June or July of 2007, up until September 25th, 2014. 4 years ago, I won. They came in and asked for the default judgment and the money that they never got in the California case.
Okay. Yeah.
And the judge gave me the default judgment and the money. And I got $3.5 billion in liens, meaning I liened up and own all of their properties. They had put a $305,000 lien on me in Nevada court, Utah court, and California court. and they asked for that money so they could take my copyright. But the judge gave me the default judgment and the money, and the judge didn't want to give me the punitive damages. So I took it with the liens like the IRS do. When you owe them money, they take your property. They take your house. They take your bank accounts. They take your property from you.
Right.
Everybody's familiar with these liens. At some point in time, the IRS has come in and liened up something of yours, or someone has liened up something of yours. It's a federal offense to put liens on anybody. You will go to jail if they do not owe you any money.
Wow.
And the liens have to be inconsistent with what is owed you. So I brought in 3 CPAs, certified public accountants, to tally up that they owed me $4.7 billion. And so I put in $3.5 billion in liens. And the judge did not take those liens out. They are part of public record. Anybody out there that dispute anything I say, email me. You can go to my website, truthaboutmatrix.com or matrixterminator.com, or simply Google Sophia Stewart and my website will pop up. And email me under the contact information, my email address and phone number, company phone number, and I will send you the documents so you can spread them out to these trolls and disbelievers who are lying out there. And I'm sure a lot of them are paid to lie, and a lot of them are totally confused as to what is going on here.
Mm-hmm. And it is. I noticed that when all of those when you were in court, and then they were scared of the RICO or going to jail or prison. That's when they transitioned and started dressing like women, so that trying to pull a Bruce Jenner so they wouldn't go to jail.
Yes, because Bruce Jenner was texting, and I guess he bumped the lady's car and pushed it in front of a Hummer, and the lady died. Mm-hmm. And I guess he was scared of going to jail, so he brought up this Caitlyn Jenner stuff. And then the Wachowskis, they had committed a federal crime by stealing federally protected copyrights. And see, if you cross-dress or you're transsexual or transgender or whatever they are calling it nowadays, politically correctly, they will separate you from the male population so you won't get raped repeatedly. Mm-hmm. But Andy and Larry Wachowski lied to the people because they never did any transgendering or no transsexual. They did cross-dress and wore wigs or their hair, looking, trying to look female or feminine, but it was basically to evade criminal prosecution.
Right.
But when you'll know the truth, because I'll give you the transcript from the Utah court case where their lawyers, Bruce Isaac, and Wyman of Beverly Hills, entered them in as males. So if you changed your name or you had a sex operation where you cut off your male organ, well, that has to be reported to the judges. The judges have to know your new identity, your new name. But this is the deal. If you have committed a crime and you stole federally copyrighted work, they're not even going to let you do a name change. Everybody, you can look this up, Google it. You are investigated before a court will even allow you to do a name change. They got to investigate you to see if you're running away from something or you are fugitive. Have you committed a crime? Are you trying to avoid child support? What are you hiding? They need to know why you're trying to get a different name. Mm-hmm. And so the court has to investigate you before they even approve of it. And if they find that you've done some kind of criminal act or you're avoiding some criminal act, you're not going to get a name change. If you do not believe me, name changes and court information is public information. So you guys need to dig deeper because these Andy and Larry Wachowski is lying to you guys. They've been lying for years, and Warner Brothers and Fox and Paramount and James Cameron and Gail Ann Hurd. So you're the reason for years.
You're the reason why they can't change their names.
That's right. I am the reason because even though you're paying to stay out of jail, this is going to come back on you. Just like Bernie Madoff was stealing millions and billions of dollars from the rich and wealthy people. And they were reporting it to the FBI, the DOJ, the same way I was reporting mine. And Bernie Madoff's son went and testified against him as a witness, and he got put in jail finally at 65 years old. He got 150 years. So he's going to die there. Al Capone, he was trafficking, killing people, prohibition, drug running, a lot of stuff. And
so
CPA got up on the stand and said that he wasn't doing any of this racketeering against the government, that he had legitimate companies that he was making money from, and so they got him on tax evasion.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think?
Jail for tax evasion. He died of syphilis there.
Yeah. Why do you think that they want to steal instead of pay since they already have money? Like, what is it?
Well,
why do they think they can steal?
Greed. It's about greed. Mm-hmm. You know, people steal because they're greedy. The rich do. The rich steal because they're greedy people. The poor steal because they're needy. They need something. They're hungry. They need a place to stay. So they steal because they're needy. They need something. That's why the poor steal. But the rich steal because they're greedy. They want more. And they don't care who they hurt, what people they suffer or they kill to get what they want. That's worse than the poor stealing because they need something. You can kind of sympathize with a man stealing bread because he's hungry. His stomach reacts and he has to eat. Mm-hmm. But a person that has money to pay for something, like Winona Ryder, the actress, she had millions of dollars. So why go into a store and steal $5,000 or $10,000 worth of stuff when you have plenty of money to pay for it? It's a psychological problem. It's being a sociopath almost without any feelings or just harming God.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's because maybe they figured that you couldn't fight against them in court, or you couldn't afford to fight against them in court, or you wouldn't try?
Well, they don't never know, because any wealthy person could have given me the money, which a lot of the people and wealthy people and all kinds of people supported me, because it was $2 million for the Utah court case. It was there for 7 years. And that California case, it never went to trial. It wasn't even there a year. It just got dismissed because they sent these 4 lawyers law firms who claimed they were going to come and help me, and they were sent by Warner Brothers to actually sabotage me and to get the case dismissed so they wouldn't go to jail. But like I said, they probably thought nobody would believe that a black woman wrote The Matrix and Terminator. And that may be something that they felt like they could get away with it. And they would use Harlan Ellison as a scapegoat and steal like $85,000 worth of teleplay from him. And they paid him the money, $85,000, and gave him some credit. But once you do that, admit that you stole federally protected copyrighted work from someone, you should go to jail for that. There should be because you're admitting to a crime, and you're paying somebody after you stole their work without their permission. You didn't have any contract with them. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had no contract with the person. You went just like you stole somebody's car, and then you want to use the car as a display, so you go and you get the owner and pay for it. But you actually stole the car without the person's permission. That is a federal criminal crime. Copyright is a federal crime.
That's right. So I have a question. So what do you think? Because if you break down the Matrix, it doesn't seem like those two would have written it because of the message in it. There's no way that message would have come through those two people in particular, because of the message that came through to many people. They couldn't answer questions and tell you what it was about, correct? when they were
That's
interviewed.
true. They can never do an interview. I'm the only one that has been able to interview for ever since 2003, October the 17th, 2002, when ABC broke my to the world that I wrote The Matrix and Terminator. I've been interviewing for 15 years, and I'm on 2 covers, magazine covers. I'm getting ready to do my 3rd cover coming up very soon here. But I've also joined, like I said, over 4,000 media interviews, with newspaper, magazine, radio, television, podcast, blog shows, the whole 9. BBC London, Wall Street Journal in 2009, CNN News, Time Magazine, Essence, Vibe, Source, Black and Applied, BET, just to name a few. And it goes on and on and on.
So, and I've seen you taking pictures with all the actors from the Matrix trilogies. And I know you only claimed the first one because the other ones kind of failed. So they're kind of on cool.
They still use my characters. They still use my graphics. They still use my special effects. They tried to change the concept, the direction it was going in, and try to make it their own, and it failed. And so I had to make it into a dream. So they still were carrying on a lot of my logos, numbers running down. Those are my logos and stuff. So I can't totally disclaim it, but so I had to make it into a dream. That was the only way and the fans loved it, that to get rid of it, but then still let people know that it's there, even though it's not part of the original work, but it still carries on my characters, my graphics, my special effects, my logos.
Mm-hmm.
Just the concept and some of the characters, which were horrible, there.
Mm-hmm. So I have a few questions from the audience. They're typing in. One person asked, what inspired you to write or create the Terminator Matrix franchise?
Well, let me tell you guys, in the late 70s, 1977, Star Wars came out. So God inspired me, because when I went, so I'm a New Yorker, I'm from New York City. I'm from the Boogie Down, which is called the Bronx. That's the borough. I'm from the Bronx. That's New York City. It's 5 boroughs. From the Bronx there. I was in Harlem at the Apollo Theater, owned at that time by the Sutton Brothers. And all these movies, especially a lot of black exploitation movies with Pam Grier and Fred Williamson and Dolomite and like a host of other, movies were shown there. And Star Wars was there, and I saw it, and I recognized Lucas's, his concept, Satan. He was writing about Satan, how Satan fell from the light side to the dark side. I was amazed. I had never seen that before, ever.
Mm-hmm. So you like the way that he conveyed it on film?
Well, I couldn't believe that somebody would talk about how Satan fell from the light side to the dark side, how he became the devil and how he failed here to there. Devil is the word, Ebonic word for the evil. That's all devil is. D-E-V-I-L. Devil, evil.
Mm-hmm.
The evil. And, I thought about, and I was inspired by God, why not do a science fiction story about the second coming of the Christ, the evolution of consciousness, man versus the machine?
Mm-hmm.
Because after all, in Revelations, I read the Bible, and Revelation said that the Christ was going to come back. Then I thought about what would be here on earth in the future that would make the Christ, John Connors, JC, Jesus Christ, who becomes Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. So Neo, N-E-O-O-G-E, is an anagram for the one.
Mm-hmm.
And John the Revelator is the only one to call Jesus the one. And his alias, Thomas, a.k.a. Thomas Anderson, is a hacker. And that's what they call Jesus, a hacker in the future. He's hidden in the city from the machines who are looking to kill him. And so look at the story. The oracle prophecy is heard by the machines, the Terminators, and the future on their own planet of machines, trading technology to everyone who's coming to buy it. Mm-hmm. And just imagine they hear this oracle prophecy that a baby is going to be born that's going to destroy them when they enslave mankind in the future. So the Terminators know everything about the past. They know that this lady, Sarah Connor, is going to be Neo's mother, going to be the one's mother. Mm-hmm. This baby is going to be born that's going to destroy them. So they time travel to the past naked, microchipped clone cyborgs wrapped in flesh, killed but cannot be killed, looking like us, coming through burning blue portal, time portal, landing naked without shame, the way we come into the world through the Matrix. Matrix is the 7,000-year word for the woman's womb, mm-hmm. meaning that God's children come out of the woman's womb. Think about this. Mm-hmm. Three-dimensional beings with souls or seeds. Mm-hmm. And then man's children would be soulless and seedless, meaning that they couldn't replicate or have any babies or be born again or anything. They would have to be created by someone. If someone didn't create them, well, that was the end of them. Mm-hmm. So just picture this time-traveling machine wrapped in flesh, looking like a living being, coming to kill Sarah Connor. But also picture Kyle Reese knowing about the prophecy and wanting to save this beautiful young woman. And he time travels to save her and inadvertently falls in love with her, gets her pregnant, the Immaculate Conception, and then he goes back to the future. And the next day, after the lovemaking, she was wondering if it was a dream, the evolutions of consciousness, a dream within a dream, a wheel within a wheel, like with Ezekiel. Was he here, or was I dreaming this? But yet, as she travels on to the city, she finds out she's pregnant. And then we see him Terminator 2, the teenager, and what does he look like? He looks unisex. Because I have him hidden out as a girl on paper because the Terminators are looking for these male children, looking for the Christ child that's exhibiting all these unusual gifts, like you saw the little boy that's sending the spoon and the indigo kids with the oracle, and the young adult ones are called the crystals. And they're trying to kill these male children that are exhibiting because they're looking for this Christ child. You see? Mm-hmm. And these kids have never been explained in the Matrix until I've explained all this to people. The people have a greater appreciation and a greater understanding. So get the books, read the books, get the details. Just like you got the Harry Potter book, the Harry Potter movie. Well, in a movie, you're only going to get to see an hour and 36 minutes of work, possibly 2 hours and 10 minutes. But in the book has greater details, it has greater information, it gives you a fuller idea like the way I am explaining it to you. Because without the creator, the real creator, author, writer, owner, if they don't tell you and interpret their work for you, you wouldn't know what was going on. You wouldn't know that Matrix and Terminator was one epic story. Exactly. And divided by Hollywood into two franchises. The way you just explained it made me like it even more. Because now that we can put all of it together and see the true meaning of it, I feel like it's less. It should have been more of a. It should have been more feminine. I think it was a very masculine. It is more of a feminine subversion. Mm-hmm. Terminator is, especially Terminator. Look, there's this woman fighting to save her child, right? Mothers. Well, I meant the directing. I meant the directing of. I just meant the directing of the movie, like what the cinematography. Oh, well, at this time in 1984, because the Terminator came out October the 17th, October 23rd, 20, I think it's 26th. I think it's October 26th, 1984. At that time, it's a male, white dominant, white male science fiction. There's no white female or no black female or no black male science fiction. Mm-hmm. So I introduced the Matrix and the Terminator. You see what I'm talking about? So you can see that the work is still in the version, but they in Hollywood, I mean, this is the first time you get to see a naked person on the screen. Back then, at that particular period, they didn't even have a husband and wife in the same bed. They were always in twin beds. They didn't even have a toilet on the screen. Nobody was going in a toilet. There was nobody naked. You got to go back in that 1984 period of time and see that this is the first time of awakening, seeing somebody naked on the screen. A microchip naked cyborg that has to go put on clothes. And he's naked without shame because he has no shame, because he has no soul, no seed. And someone has to tell him to go camouflage himself. Mm-hmm. So the awareness, the awakening, and then some of my graphics and special effects were so phenomenal that the second Terminator had to wait 12 years, 1992, before it could be even created.
I remember that.
This is what's going on with Matrix 4. Go on.
I remember that because I watched both of them and I was excited for part 2 to come out as well. But I did notice that, that was his biggest role, with put Arnold on the map, playing that part, which was, you started so many people's careers and took them to the next level, basically with your writing.
Yes, it really elevated Keanu Reeves' career, Lawrence Fishburne's career, Schwarzenegger's career when shot into orbit. I don't even think that Schwarzenegger would have became a bigger star if he was not in the Terminator. But he thought that he was this really, really superhero, but he didn't know he was the bad guy. And he didn't understand that he was terrifying and he was the bad guy. And that the bad guys in those period of time, they didn't get the fan base like the heroes. Mm-hmm. And if you played a hero, that's why a lot of actors would not play villains in the movie, because once you vilify yourself, you're a bad guy, everybody don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They're scared of you or they don't like you. You know what I'm talking about? But they love the hero. You know what I'm talking about? They love the heroes that beat out all the odds, like, Neo, Keanu Reeves, he's Neo. He beats out the machines, the agents. They're machines. You see what I'm talking about? He beat them.
Mm-hmm. So I think you're correlating the soulless beings of the earth with the machines, as well as technology.
Because man is going in the lab and he's creating GMOs. GMO, the initials for that is genetically modified organism. An organism is a living thing. So if you're creating a GMO, you could be creating GMO foods. And you guys are eating GMOs. When you eat a soulless, a seedless watermelon, or a seedless, soulless apple, or orange, or grape, well, you're eating organisms that are created by man. Mm-hmm. Because it has no seeds or no soul. Everything that God creates comes from the womb. It comes out of a womb, a woman's womb, an apple's womb.
So if
what I'm talking about? It's a living thing with a soul or seed, and it can reproduce again.
So if you eat a seedless watermelon, if you eat a GMO seedless watermelon, what is the spiritual difference between that and
you're eating a living thing, but it doesn't have any substance to it, like something that God creates with the seed. Like, say for instance, we ate a watermelon or we was eating some grapes and we spit out the pits. Well, they're seeds. Mm-hmm. As soon as they hit the ground at some point and the water rains, the rain comes, they're going to grow without our help. There's always going to be apple trees and oranges and grapevines and potatoes, and all this, because all these things have seeds and souls. They're living things.
So
the food we eat is living. It's
yes.
not dead, it's living. The only thing that's dead that we eat that's still kind of living, kind of flesh, is animals, but the flesh is still kind of substance. You know what I'm talking about? It's not like it's like a dead animal, but it's still like living flesh that we're consuming when we eat steaks or, chicken or turkey,
So I was just trying to connect it in my head that a seed is a soul.
Because look, you have a seed. When we have a baby, that's a seed. Because we're having babies. Okay, let me just give it like this. Let me give people a good example so they won't be confused, because I don't want anybody confused out there. Say a man wanted to create his own animal. So say a man took a horse that's big and he's weak, and he took a donkey that's strong, little. But say he crossbred them, you know what I'm talking about? He grafted a mule. Well, the mule is big as that horse, and he's strong as the donkey, but he's a seedless, soulless thing. He's a GMO. He can't have any baby. He was created by man. He's a graft. He's a GMO, a genetic modified organism, modified by man.
So two mules can't.
But the mule can't have a baby. He has no seed, no soul.
Two mules can't mate?
He's a soulless GMO.
Okay. I didn't know that two mules couldn't mate.
No, two mules can't mate, and they can't have no babies. They don't have no womb, no seed, no soul.
Wow.
It's a graft.
They talk about mules a lot in the Bible. Maybe there's something to that.
No, they don't talk about mules in the Bible. They talk about donkeys.
Okay, donkeys. Okay, so
they only talk about mules in cowboy movies.
When did they start making mules?
Way back.
I need to do some research.
Cowboy movies, if you look at the cowboy days are not far from us. I mean, people still have ranches, farms. They always, and they use mules on those ranches and farms. And so, man has been grafting GMOs for a long time. Foods. You didn't know. Look at the tangelo. You didn't know the tangelo was a GMO created by man. There's no soul, no seed.
Well, some people don't even know what's real and what's fake anymore because they're born into GMOs. You know what I'm saying? So if you go to
they're born into GMOs and they don't even know, like you said. They need to Google this because the government is not hiding that they do GMOs. It's just that, like you said, they were born and they grew into eating these organisms, and they're living organisms, but they're just not created by God. Because see, everything that was created by God has a seed, a soul. It goes on and on. It's continued. It's never going to end. It's like the infinity. It goes on and on and on, vertically, horizontally, any direction. It never stops.
You see, before I spoke to you about that, I didn't know how I felt about the GMOs, but when you explained the seed is like the soul and the regeneration and all that kind of stuff, now it makes me think twice and reconsider. Because nobody really explains things on a spiritual level as well as a scientific level. So it's kind of like, oh, well, it's no big deal. But when you break it down like that, and it means more, and it opens a consciousness. So thank you.
And this is why I need to break it down, and people need to ask questions, because the stuff that I'm talking about, they're not going to teach you this in school. They're not going to tell you this, because this is going to terrify you. This is going to scare you. But you can't make rightful decisions for yourself, and you don't know what's going on unless you know about this. This is very important, You know what I'm saying?
It is. Because if you're eating non-GMO with seeds and regenerating, your DNA is going to respond better to those type of foods rather than GMO foods because it's more natural and it's probably what is going to help activate more and more of them as you grow consciously as well.
Right.
Oh, I had another question from a viewer. They're asking, what are you working on now, if anything? Are you doing any writing, anything new in the works?
Oh yeah, I have several new books out. So when you guys get in touch with, email me, I'll send you pictures of the new books, and I got several books that I've written. And the Matrix 4, like I was offered by Warner Brothers, $30 million for the script for the fourth installment. And the fourth installment actually takes after from Matrix 1, and I made 2 and 3 a dream. So Neo and Trinity and Morpheus, all these guys never died. Because 2 and 3 are just a dream. You see what I'm talking about? So you guys need to see the new books, and you guys need to see that I've never stopped working. Matrix 4 has been out for 8 years, you guys. It's been out since 2010, selling around the entire world.
Mm-hmm. And you can get Matrix 4 on her website. I have it linked in the description bar. Just click on the little arrow below, and then I'll also try to put it in the comments later. But I ordered your Matrix 4 book, and I guess it's on the way in the mail. And I also got the Third Eye book because I remember the Third Eye from a while back, and I saw it in a bookstore a long time ago. And it's kind of weird, but I wanted to read that. I wanted to read the Matrix 4 because I've already seen Matrix, so now I can have the whole complete, thing in my head, because a lot of people are wondering, what's going to happen. What would your view be of what would happen? So now we get that, and that's going to be something wonderful, because now we get the true writer, true ending, or true continuance. I should say.
No, the first Matrix is the true
Yes,
Matrix.
Not
my work.
Right.
And what people get to see is the continuation of one.
Right. And
the continuation of the work that they love.
Exactly.
Instead of garbage like 2 and 3 and Terminator 4 and Genesis, you're going to see Terminator 5, Rebirth of the Machines, how the machines were reborn, how the hologram Terminators came to take the Agent Smiths and Agent, all those agents, their places.
That's what I meant.
How those new ones have come. The new ones. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying.
I'm thinking about something else. But go on.
Oh, that's what I was saying. 2 and 3, you like you said, it was a dream, and we want to see, the 4, and I'm excited that we get more of your writing. Is what we're saying.
Oh yeah, but you got more of my writing. I mean, you want more? The continuation of the work. I see what you're saying. Yeah, because I was gonna say you did get more of my writing because they kept carrying on. A lot of people don't realize when you carry on somebody's graphics and their characters and their special effects and their logos, you are getting some of their work continuously. But the concept, they changed the concept, and that's what turns you off, because concept is going in another direction instead of the direction that was created for it,
right?
For the vehicle.
And I know when I saw. It was when I saw the other Matrixes, I was disappointed. It took me like years and years to even decide to sit through one of them, and it had to be free on television. So when I watched, I think it was the one with the train and the Keymaster. When I watched that one, I was disappointed because I'm like, this is not even on that same level. Like, this is not even on the same level, because it to me, it was more silly than it was deep, and I felt like I could totally tell it was totally different writing, and it wasn't close to anywhere near the Matrix 1. So it took me years to even want to watch 2 and 3 because it was so much less than the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have another question. Someone asked me to get some gnosis from you, like some spiritual insight on maybe whatever you wanted to share in any type of knowledge, information, predictions, anything. Just want to hear from your mind.
What do they want? What do they want now?
Just some spiritual insight, knowledge, what's to come, just something that you would share with people. I have a very spiritual audience.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want to go and explain some of the stuff in Matrix 4.
Okay, go ahead.
And want people to know that in Matrix 4, I'm talking about virtual penal system. And everybody needs to really know about this because in the future, this is a waste on taxpayers' money. People, paying for all these prisons and prison guards and all of this stuff. Well, in the future, just think about this. In the Matrix 4, I'm talking about you'll have a universal card. The universal card will be the driving license. And that driving license will be chipped, but it'll have your banking information. It'll have your DNA information. It'll just have all of your information. And, your credit card. It'll be like a credit card, but it'll be like a universal card with everything. And then you just think that these motion sensors are all over the highway, and you happen to be like, kind of going, here and there, moving funny on the, like something's going on. Well, the drone transporters and the drones now have become bigger now, and they are different now. They're holograms. The hologram drone will come, because I'm going to create a TV series called The Drones. I've already written it and stuff, and it's about these living drones that are holograms, and they come to the car, just sending a live cop to the car. A hologram drone will come to the car and scan you. Can you imagine that? Scan you and see exactly if you're doing drugs, if you're having sex. It'll check your vitals to see if you're having a heart attack, or see how much alcohol you have in your system, or how much drugs are there. And then after it sees that you're not a threat, it'll send a live cop, highway patrolman, or policeman to your car, and then he'll take your driving license and he'll go to his squad car, and he'll take that universal driving license card and he'll swipe it, and then out falls this little receipt, and then it just debited your account, like, digital coins, debited your account of $300. And then he'll take your universal driving license, the card, back to you with the receipt, and you can go on. Because now there are no more court systems, no more judges, no more jewelry. And no more executioners. You become your own judge, jury, and executioner if you cannot control yourself. Can you imagine? This is in Matrix 4. You get to see this in Matrix 4, a virtual penal system where now when you commit a crime, they take you to Homeland Security, and on a gurney, they strap you down on a gurney, they insert a microchip the size of a pinhead in the delicate part of your brain, which is a low jack also, where they can track you. Mm-hmm. And they put it in there when you can't take it out, and they let you go, because once you become a felony in the future, you lose your rights and you get this chip, this low jack. Now the drones and the hologram drones, they're tracking you via satellite. So if you commit a crime, the satellites will actually zoom in on you and actually videotape you committing the crime. And now the new jobs for the parole officer and the probation officer, you know what I'm talking about,
right,
is via satellite. They can stay home and watch all of their, clients on the screen, computer screens, via satellite. Watch everything. Track their movements. See if they're home in bed. See if they've gone out. We're living in a totally digital world, the Matrix, where there's no privacy. Get the Matrix 4 book. It's going to blow your mind. There is no books written like it. It's like the Matrix. It's the same continuation of what just thrilled you in Matrix 1, where quantum physics is jumping off the screen. Calculus, ancient sacred geometry, You see what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Nanotechnology, alien technology, all of the kind of stuff that you thrill at. Because back in the 80s, when I first wrote the Matrix and Terminator, the Third Eye Matrix and Terminator, it's called the Third Eye Matrix and Terminator because Terminator End Time Revelations, the prophecy of the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machine. So you see what I'm talking about? Matrix, the woman's womb where God's children comes out of with seeds and souls, including the female animals, seeds and souls.
Mm-hmm.
And the third eye, because it's the eye of God, because on earth we have two eyes. But look, there's the third eye, the all-powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing eye of God that sees and knows everything. And we're talking about his children versus man's children, because man's children was created in the laboratory. Man's food was created in the laboratory. God's children came from the earth, from the sun, from the dirt of the earth, because the mother, for 9 months and 36 weeks, she ate from the dirt of the earth this food, that nurtured the baby in her womb.
Mm-hmm.
And the baby is swimming in the womb like a little fish with gills.
Mm-hmm.
And he's breathing and eating the nutrients and the vitamins that the mother is eating from the dirt of the earth, where she eats the fruits and the vegetables and the animals, which all come from the dirt of the earth and grows by the sun, which God created, the sun, the
Mm-hmm.
air that we breathe, the water, the fire, when we rub two stones together. All of this stuff created by God that has no switch on it, and no man can put a switch on it to make us pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that are created by God. Man cannot put a switch on it.
Right.
Everything man has created is innate objects,
Mm-hmm.
volatile objects that not even are good.
Mm-hmm.
Look at refined sugar. It's horrible, but sugar cane that grows from the dirt of the earth that God has created from the sun is healthy. Brown rice opposed to white rice. Brown and black bread opposed to white bread, like starch. White bread is like starch, like glue. So I'm telling you, all this stuff that man has created has been the downfall of the people. Has no nutrients, no value to it.
Mm-hmm.
It goes against the whole nature of God. It goes against the nature of God. It's sort of like a corruption.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
It is. I feel like as we get further and further into the future, like you were talking about in the Matrix 4, I think that, how do you see food in the future?
I see people growing their own food, because the GMOs are not going to be good for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I see people growing their own food, because we're going to always have rain.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that's given by God that never goes away, rain. And you're going to always have water. So I don't know why y'all believe that lie. Look. We got so much water on the earth. I don't know why man tell man lies that we're running out of water, we're running out of food. The only way you'll ever run out of food is if you never have any more water.
Mm-hmm.
Water is what grows food. As long as you have seeds, you're going to grow food. Right. And water is never going to be an issue, because as you can see, these hurricanes make sure of that, because they're flooding everything out. The water is trying to take possession of the land.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it rains, and if it rains too much, it's going to flood. So why do people believe these lies that man tells? Why can't you just believe and see with your own eyes what's going on around you? That right now you can go get some seeds and you can grow your own healthy food. You don't have to eat these GMOs. You don't have to be dying and taking these biopharmaceuticals, because God made all this natural stuff that will make us healthy and keep us alive and keep us well. So you don't have to believe the lies that man tells. And people are so concerned about these kings and these queens and these presidents. You don't have to listen to any of that. You don't have to believe in it. You don't have to even vote on any of it. You don't even have to be concerned to live in this world. You can live happily and let someone else worry about that, because why do you need to worry about what man is doing? Why not create your own beautiful world where you can do what you want as long as it's good, perfect, and pure?
That's how I feel.
And it's not hurting or harming anybody else.
Exactly. That's exactly the same way I feel about, living happily and not worried about all that other stuff.
Yeah, because I don't understand why are people worried about other people, because if someone is committing crimes, it's affecting them. If someone is doing something bad, it's affecting them. And what we do, whatever we do as individuals, it affects us. So if we're doing something positive, then we're getting positive results, because you only get what you give. You don't get what others is doing, even though they tell you that lie so they can get you involved in other people's stuff. And when you get involved in other people's stuff, then you start paying for other people's stuff. Because you're involved in it. It's almost like that little Chicken Little went around and said the world was falling. And everybody that believed his lie, well, the world fell in on them. But everybody that didn't believe his lie and they kept moving, they had happy lives.
That's right.
It's very true.
It is. You're gonna attract what you put out, what you feel. So someone is asking, do you recommend any type of herbs or supplements, and how do you receive your downloads or information? Do you meditate?
I do not meditate at all, because man created that. I think that if you ask, you will receive. If you're not, the doors should be open. You know what I'm talking about? So you can ask for information to the universe to give you the information you want, and the universe will provide you the tools and information. Right. I think that everything is living that God created, that we can even ask for living things, as long as we're asking for things that are righteous, things that's going to bring good and not harm to others. We may receive these things, especially if they're not going to harm us or others. And I recommend that the South African red tea is organic. South African red tea organic. It's full of antioxidants. And it makes the body healthy. You guys need to Google it. It's magnificent. It sells at Whole Food stores. You can buy it online, but make sure you get the 100% organic South African red tea. It makes you lose weight. Oh, it helps your blood sugar for people who have diabetic, or diabetes, they're diabetics. And I mean, you can read the benefits, and it really cuts that weight off of you. If you're like 200 or 300 pounds, or 400 pounds, or overweight by 30 or 40 pounds, and cut that belly out. Oh my God, it is so healthy. I recommend it, and people are losing weight, and they have testimony. They have come to me, and then I have a prayer that I give people that have really helped a lot of people. As long as they do not break the prayer, it's an angel prayer, and it's a phenomenal prayer that gives you miracles, blessings. And if you're having a wretched life, if something is going bad with you, then email me, contact me. You can email me especially, and put your phone numbers and stuff, and your email, when you email me, I'll have your email address. But you really need help, I can help you. I've helped tons of people who have never written a book before, written their first book and autographed them, people who have never written a script before. I help and heal and encourage. My grandmother's full-blooded Cherokee, from the Missouri Indian reservations. My grandfather, full-blooded Portuguese from Portugal, Spain. So I have the gift of Simon. I have the gift of sight of Simon. And I want to heal and help. I'm the oracle. The oracle is based on my life as a visionary seer. And I like to help as many people as I can help, like the late Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet, how he helped thousands of people. I think that we should help and heal and uplift and bring people higher into higher consciousness. Mm-hmm. And ask, why are you here? Stop copying off other people. Stop getting involved in other stuff.
Right.
Ask God, why are you here? God, why am I here? What do I need to do to make this world a better place before I leave here? What is my work? What is my job? What is my contribution to heal and uplift and help the world? That's what I think every man, woman, and child should be concentrating on. Not the negativity, not all the negative things that the president is doing. He has no power except the power you give him. Not the negative things that senators and politicians are doing, or policemen are doing, or bad judges, bad cops, bad lawyers, bad people in general. Just the positive. Focus on the positive. Channel your energy and your thoughts into what you can create, what you can uplift, what you can build, who you can help.
That's right.
What you can contribute to this world. Only think about those things. Forget about the negativity. It's going to always be around like flies. It's going to always be around like negativity.
Right. You don't let the flies ruin it.
It's going to always be around.
That's exactly right. Don't let the flies ruin your good picnic.
That's right. Shoo them away. Get them out of your hair. Get them away from you. Don't dwell around the negative energy or negative people. If someone is negative and they're starting to do something horrible, or they're speaking negative and their energy is interfering with your goodness and your positiveness, then leave that area. Leave that presence.
Get them away.
Move away from that. Get with people that are more kind and gentle and loving and uplifting and creating and building.
That's
Get
right.
away from people who are destroying, lying, killing, stealing, and harming others, because you don't have to do that. It's the most negative thing. It brings shame to God when you do negative things. It's just a shameless to God. Because if you think about it, if you really think about this, why do you need to do something negative? It takes away from you. It doesn't give to you. It's like math. It subtracts from you. Do you know that the negative math is subtraction and division? Division divides you and separates you from good. The subtraction takes away everything that you had that was good in your life. But you want to be involved with multiplication, to multiply many and much and add. Right. Adding, addition, and multiplication.
Right.
Where you add many things to your life, many good people, many gifts, many beautiful memories, and you want to multiply what little bit you got into millions and billions of dollars to help, heal, build, create.
That's right.
God's people can be wealthy also.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to be wealthy by stealing, because all the people that get wealthy by stealing is taken away from themselves. They can't even hold on to the money. That's why they keep selling drugs, why they keep doing stealing from others, because they can't keep it. Robbing banks, hurting and harming and killing. It's only taken away from them.
Exactly.
They're suffering.
Exactly, because
nothing good is going on.
Right. And I truly believe that. And I feel like people don't see that by some actions, they're actually cutting themselves off. If you're
from the good, from the good.
Right.
You're actually, when you start subtracting and using division, you are taking away from yourself. You're taking all that's good from yourself. See, when you start lying and not telling the truth, you're taking away all that's good. God and the angels abandon you. They leave you. Mm-hmm. When you start stealing, you're like on your own. Like you're just like a loner, separated, cut off. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to be your friend. Nobody wants to be around you, because you got this negative energy that repulses everybody. They don't dislike you. They just repulse at the energy that you're vibrating at. You start vibrating at a lower vibration. And you think that vibration is not noted by people and animals, but it is. That's why animals don't even like you. They don't even want to be around you.
That's true.
You can tell a bad spirit and a bad vibrations in people where the animals act. The dogs and the cats and all that, they don't want to be around you. They run from you because they're sensing your vibrations and your energy, and it's bad. And they don't want to be in nothing bad because they have good energy.
Mm-hmm.
They look for good people to rub upon and hug and kiss and love upon. And all you got to do is be that. That's not hard to do.
That's right. And I feel like a lot of people feel that as well. And even though they feel it, some people ignore it. Why do you think some people ignore it? Especially a lot of women who get into relationships, or a lot of men who enter relationships with people, and they see that and they feel it, but they ignore it. Why do you think they do that? When a person is negative, low frequency.
That women get into bad relationships and because they have low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
They have low self-esteem because a lot of them have been beaten, abused, and raped, and been mistreated so horribly that even bad attention is to them some kind of attention. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if people would play that song that Whitney Houston used to sing, that song that anybody can find, The Greatest Love. If you would get that song, everybody, all the women who have low self-esteem, that feel like they have to be with somebody bad and abusive, that kick them around and mistreat them and their kids and rape their kids, abuse their kids. If you would just get this song that Whitney Houston sang, The Greatest Love, even males out there who've been mistreated and done the same way, that have low self-esteem, if you would get this song, The Greatest Love, and look up the lyrics on Google the lyrics and read the lyrics as you play the song, and that song is telling you the greatest love is when you love yourself.
That's right.
Because when you love yourself, everyone loves you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the greatest gift, is that you are loved. Even if no one loves you, if you could just love yourself and respect yourself, you get what you give yourself is what others are seeing.
Exactly.
And this song would uplift your spirits to the greatest height just by listening to the song, the music, and reciting the lyrics. You can Google the lyrics.
I sang that when I was a kid. I love that song. I used to sing it all the time when I was a kid.
Do you know why? Because that song was uplifting your spirit. Because music harmonizes with our vibration. And everybody have low self-esteem out there, whether you're male, you're a woman, or you're a child. If you would play this song for your kids that are having problems, that are being bullied, if you would just play this song like an anthem, like a banner, and have it penetrating through your house, the vibrations, and then read the lyrics, and it's just teaching you that the greatest love is when you love yourself, no matter if you're right or wrong, no matter what you've done. If you could just come back and love yourself, then that's the greatest love of all, because everybody will love you. You will attract the greatest of people. It'd be like a miracle.
That's right. I feel the same way.
It's so powerful, everyone, what I'm telling you, everybody. If you think I'm joking, just do it. Just do it and see what it does. Just see the transformation in your house. Play it loud. Put that song on and play it loud and play it over and over and just see how it affects the people in the house.
Right.
See how it affects the kids, how it affects the animals. Just see how the vibration.
I played it for my
song.
I played it for my daughters because it was one of my favorite songs, and I played it for my daughters, and they like stopped everything and when they heard her voice, first of all, because they're young. Yeah. They stopped everything when they heard her voice, and then when they listened to the words and saw the video,
I'm getting chilled up as you speak.
Go on. They were moved. Like they were totally moved, and now they're into older singers now because the music was more inspirational. Like they listened to Stevie Wonder, the Jacksons, they listened to Whitney. You know, I took them back to
and Luther.
Oh yeah, Luther. I was singing Luther earlier today on my other. So
yeah, see what I'm talking about? Oh my God.
So they are getting that before they're getting what's on the radio, because I don't even play the radio anymore. I play what's on my playlist on my phone. So they get to hear new things, but I also introduce them to older things so that they have a true appreciation for like the acoustics.
Music.
Yes. And when they played real instruments and the vibrations and all those kind of things, because it gets into your DNA. It's activation.
Oh my God, you're 100% right. And it's so healing. Music is one of those healing forces in the universe. And if someone is sick, and healing them with music, and let me tell you, apple cider vinegar and honey and water. If anybody's diabetic out there, Bragg's organic apple cider vinegar. I'm not saying OD on it and use it all the time, but it helps to cut weight. It helps to lower the blood sugar, because you want to get off of these old nasty biopharmaceutical medicine that's killing everybody out there, these GMOs and the prescribed medicine that they're just only interested in killing people, paying doctors millions of dollars to fire this stuff up on you guys, and it's killing you guys. I don't go to any dentist. I don't go see no doctors. I don't have no high blood pressure, no diabetes, no sickness, no illness, because I was eating the food that I ate when I was a kid, and I don't smoke, I don't drink, other than social drinking, wine and occasional drinks with food and sociably. And I don't do drugs or any of that stuff. What I'm talking about. I don't use people's bodies, and some people love, because that's a deadly sin also.
Mm-hmm. I was
try to keep everything pure, and the South African red tea, it keeps you youthful looking and your skin all beautiful and stuff. So if you had asked me to tell these people what they need to do and what they need to get, they need to change and get this, because it's South African organic red tea at the Whole Food stores. It's going to make you lose all that weight. A lot of people are just so fat and unhealthy because of the weight. And men have stomachs. They look like they're pregnant. And this was never like this 20 or 30 years ago. There was nothing like that.
I remember
about this bad food.
I remember in the 80s and the 70s, nobody was fat. They could wear skinny jeans, and they was just called regular jeans. And so everybody ate at home. Everybody walked a little bit, at least somewhere. And there wasn't a lot of that I don't know. I remember when everybody was thinner. It was very rare to see a big person. And now it's, I've gained weight, lost weight, because I've had kids and, have eaten bad, and I've lost weight again. But I feel like that's true. If you just notice in the last 20 years, it's just so food has become almost like a drug itself, because there's chemicals in it, like drugs.
Yes, and it's blowing up men's stomach and making them look pregnant. Oh my God, it's like crazy. I've never seen men that look pregnant. They look more pregnant than the women, and you don't ever see women pregnant like that anymore. Every once in a while, you see a woman's round stomach, but I see nothing but nails. I don't care if they're skinny. I see a stomach on them that looks like they're carrying a baby.
Right.
And it's just crazy. I mean, and it's younger people, and it's killing them. All this weight is killing you. So apple cider vinegar, organic, it'll cut the weight. Also, the South African red tea, organic, it'll cut the weight in the stomach. Then the South African red tea, organic, you don't need any honey. It's naturally sweet. You don't got to put nothing in it. You can drink it like it is. You can drink it hot or cold.
Okay.
Depending if the weather's getting cold, drink it hot, or you can make it cold, put it in the refrigerator and just drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it will heal you and help you. It has helped a lot of people. One girl lost about 35, 40 pounds, and she looks really great. Another one that was in her 50s, she looks like she's 39 or 40 years old because of the antioxidants. It makes your skin look younger.
I'm going to get some tomorrow.
Younger and beautiful.
I'm getting some tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm telling the truth. Yeah.
So I know you said
you do it. You guys take it and look at the results. Take it for 2 months to look at the results, and you're going to be telling other people. That's what you do. Pass it on.
I will.
If something works for you and it's good for you, or prayer, or the tea, or the apple cider vinegar, pass it on to help others. And you see somebody that looks like they're 100 or 200 pounds overweight, 150 pounds, they're going to die if you don't help them, because the weight kills you.
Mm-hmm. I'll do a video on it. I'll get some, and I'll even drink it and do a video, and I'll share with a lot of people so that they know. And I'll tell them you told me about it, and I'll give you some credit that you told me to take it. So,
because this lady told me about it, and my God, she was really huge, and she took that tea and she went down, to a normal weight.
Okay.
And looked good, and I was like, oh my God, I went and got some immediately, and guess what? I lost weight myself, but it made my skin so beautiful and just gorgeous. I mean, it just made me so I didn't have no more allergies. I didn't have any more stiffness, no more inflammation, because I did suffer from what do you call it, acid flux in your throat, that reflux.
That heartburn.
Yeah, heartburn and stuff like that, and just inflammation and like stiffness or pain. Like I would take Tylenol, or I would take Advil, but I didn't have to take no more Tylenol, no more Advil, no more stiffness, no more pain, no more inflammation, and no more allergies. Because I suffered from allergies every summer, no more. My girlfriend, she took it too. She had grass allergies. She said, when she started drinking the tea, the grass allergies were gone. I said, this is a miracle. I love it.
I'm going to give some.
The worst thing was the allergies.
Right. Yeah. My daughter has allergies. I'm going to give some to her.
Yeah, they can drink it. Your kids can drink it and stuff like that, but you'll make you lose 70 a pound every 72 hours just for people that are really heavy. And if your girls start to lose some weight, and then you can put a little honey in there with their, to balance them out.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? If they start to lose any weight, but I don't think it's gonna do that. But for people that are really big, they need to lose this weight. And that South African red tea, everybody, South African red tea, organic, Whole Foods store, $13.99. That's all. You can go get you some tonight. I think they sell it at Walmart, but make sure, and I think you can sell it at Walmart, but make sure that it's organic, 100% organic, and it's South African red, R-E-D, red tea.
Okay.
From the Whole Foods store. Yes. And take it and do not stop and watch this. You're going to see results in a month, and you're going to be amazed. And then other people are going to be telling you too that you look good, and they're going to ask you what's going on, and you tell them.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Everybody is probably going out to Google it and go buy it tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. Because I have a lot of ladies in here, and they're all typing, "Oh, I'm going to go get some. I just found it online," and so they're excited about that.
Oh, yeah, you can find it online. Everybody, I forgot to tell you, you can get it online. You can order it, but make sure it's the South African red tea, R-E-D, organic. Make sure it's organic. It's very cheap, and you get these. It's going to be tea bags, and you steep it for 3 to 4 minutes or 5 minutes, and drink it hot or drink it cold. But my girlfriend makes a gallon of it and put it in her refrigerator. But I drink it all day.
That's a good idea.
Summer. Yeah. And she said, it's free automatically. You don't got to put nothing in it. And if somebody, if you start to lose too much weight, and you just put a little honey to balance it out. Honey, because you don't want any sugar in your tea. Honey is the place that gets some pure honey, and that helps also. Honey is very healthy for people.
Mm-hmm.
Even 2 teaspoons of honey before you go to bed. If you a bedwetter or you have problems with can't hold your, urine, well, if you were to take or get organic honey, if you can go get it from the farmers or from the farmer market, get the real organic honey, and you take 2 teaspoons before you go to bed, and I guarantee you can rest wonderfully. And Google organic honey and look at the benefits that it gives you. Get over the sugar.
Mm-hmm.
No more sugar. Sugar kills, especially white sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Refined white sugar kills you.
Yeah.
You're going to do some sugar, do the real sugar cane. Get the sugar cane, real sugar.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, no, the cane sugar. They get the real. But if I were you, I would just get off of sugar, period, and get with the cane. And no more sodas. Just stop the sodas.
Mm-hmm.
The sodas, and especially the dark ones, are killing all of America and giving you those stomachs.
That's true.
It's worse than beer.
That's true. So I know that you personally knew the Jacksons. Did you ever meet Michael? Because he's my favorite.
Oh my God, yes, of course. And I got pictures of Michael when Michael was black and when he was white. I got pictures of the Jacksons and celebrities that it's probably worth $1 million. It's unpublished pictures that have never been put on any screen or any magazines that are worth lots of money. I have a photo album of it. It goes way back to 1980, everybody.
Wow.
So I've been knowing the Jacksons since 1980. They're the ones that discovered me when Joe Jackson and the late Joe Jackson, he just passed away a couple of months ago before his birthday, July the 26th. I think he was going to be 89 or 90 years old. I think he's going to be 90 years old for his next upcoming birthday. He was partying. He was looking forward to that. Mm. But anyway, when we did the red carpet of the Academy in 2013, he told the media that when they interviewed us on the red carpet that the Jacksons were the ones who discovered me. I did Janet Jackson's first television feature film, and they're a remarkable, wonderful family. Whenever Joe would go to Cali, he would let me speak to Catherine, Katie Catherine, the mother of the Jacksons' kids, mm-hmm. and his wife. Yeah, and she's beautiful. I've been knowing her too since the 1980s, and Jermaine and all of the, Latoya, Janet, all of them, Marlon, mm-hmm. and so forth. So they are some wonderful people. They're very nice, very genuine, and they pretty much stay the same. They've always been a little trusting. I think Michael would still be alive today if he did not trust as much as he did. Mm-hmm. If he was a little more hard, Mm-hmm. But that comes with shame, though. You have to be careful when you become famous and you become a celebrity. Mm-hmm. You have to be weary and worry about people you meet and who you become your friend and who you let into your life and into your cycle and your circle.
That's right.
And then your vibrations and your energy. You have to be very, very selective, very careful. Mm-hmm. And see what people are coming for, what they're coming after.
Right. Because, very
important, everybody out there.
That's so true. He was the most sued celebrity out there because people just wanted some of his money. So
they always, let me tell you about that. Everybody wants to separate you from your money. I don't care who you are. I don't care if tomorrow you were homeless and you won the lottery for $450 million. Or you hit the publishing clearinghouse for $2 million. And all it is going on in this world when people hear about people having money and they become whatever rich, famous, celebrity, whatever, and you got a lot of money, all people want to do is come to separate you from that money.
Exactly.
That is all for anybody. I don't care if it's inventors, creators, and
Mhm.
businessmen. Everybody becomes wealthy. The game is to separate you from the money.
Definitely.
Everybody comes to take the money. That's the name of the game. Remember that, everyone.
Mhm.
That's the name of the game. It is nothing personal. It's not because of who you are or what you are. It's because you got that money. No matter who you are, everything, the forces that come into play to try to separate you from the money.
Why do you think that's so?
Because it's just something of nature. It's just something of nature. Because when you got, somebody wants.
Mhm.
It's wanting and having. So
Mhm.
if you got something, even right now, if you bought a mansion, somebody's gonna want your house. Think about it. They see it, they're gonna want it.
Mhm.
See you a car you may have. You know what I'm talking about? Children you may have, or your husband, or a
Mhm.
boyfriend. Somebody is gonna want what you have.
Well,
And
what
I'm
if
not
you teach them
talking
how to
about you
get it?
personally. I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about this is how it works with people, period.
Right. What
And
about those
people
that
always
teach?
admire what others have and want what they have.
Exactly. But like you teach, what if people taught others how to get what they have instead of, so that everybody could have, because there's
But
abundance,
not
right?
want to take what somebody has. It's nothing wrong with admiring what someone has, but
Right.
wanting to take what somebody has is where the thieves come in, where the criminals come in.
Right.
But the criminals all want a shortcut. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
You can go the long way to something, or you can take a shortcut to something.
The
See, and
shortcuts
a
don't
lot of
pay
people
off.
who don't want to people who don't want to do the work, people who don't want to earn, people who don't want to pay, they try to take shortcuts. The shortcuts doesn't lead you anywhere but to a dead end. Because
Mhm.
that's where you end up, is a dead end, taking a shortcut. Do you ever notice that when you're trying to not go around something, you turn to the right, and that's a dead end there. You gotta be careful which way you're traveling.
Right.
A lot of times on the path, you end up in dead ends. And
Right.
that's where most people who try to take shortcuts, they end up in a dead end,
Mhm.
not going anywhere.
What is your best
There are no
advice?
shortcuts to life. This is what it's telling you. When you end up at a dead end, it's telling you there are no shortcuts to life.
Exactly. So, what is your best advice for someone who is wanting to become successful at whatever they choose? How should they approach their problems?
Well, anybody that wants to be successful know that they have to earn whatever they get, because you can't keep anything but what you earn.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff is about what you earning and keeping it. It's not about trying to get there fast and taking something or taking shortcuts or taking something that doesn't belong to you, but keeping something that is yours and doing the work. And the fact that you're doing the work is the greatest joy.
Exactly.
Because you created something, you did something, you built that. Even if it's a house and you built that house, even if it's a garden, you grew that food. Whatever you've done, you're proud of your accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a phenomenal job. If you go to school for 4 years and you get your degree, or you go to school, high school, and you get your diploma, whatever you fulfill and you complete in life gives you the greatest feeling of accomplishment.
Mm-hmm. That's
and
true.
People that do shortcuts, they don't get that same pleasure.
Nope. They don't get the experience, the journey, the lessons, or the growth or the consciousness that comes with it. So it's cheating themselves.
And that's exactly what they're doing. They're cheating themselves, and they're not gonna get away with it.
Exactly.
They're not gonna get away with it.
And even though, this happened to you, you had the consciousness that came with writing that they didn't get. And that's exactly what backfired. So everything that someone does wrong, if they take the shortcut and don't get the lessons and don't understand what's going on, will, come back to bite you, because you're not the cause of the effect.
Exactly, because look at these people who lied. James Cameron, Gillian Hurd, Andy, and Larry. So you've never seen these people on TV, and you won't see them on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Because they lie. Anytime they go on a talk show, they're on the camera, it's called a deposition, they're filmed, they're taped, lying.
Mm-hmm.
And that film and that tape can be used against you in a court of law to put you in jail.
That's right.
So this is why you guys have never, ever seen them on TV. And I can't believe that people can even believe they wrote something and have never, ever seen them on any talk shows. Do you know that if they wrote The Matrix and Terminator and they really wrote it, they would be bragging and they would be talking about it on every talk show. Ellen, Oprah, James Gordon, everywhere.
I know. I would if I wrote it. Now.
Exactly. But I'm the only one that gets to talk about it and do the interviews.
Right.
And I'm in a lot of magazines, newspaper, was on television a lot. From 2005, from 2003, actually, when ABC Disney broke my story, October the 17th, 2003, I've done over 4,000 media interviews. I've been filmed, taped, recorded, and everything for 15 years, people, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've done 2 covers. I'm on the cover of 2 magazines, and I'm getting ready to do my 3rd cover, but I've been inside of numerous magazines. And when you email me, I'll send a lot of them to you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I want to tell them about your website. So,
a lot. Yes, go on.
If go to the description box in my video and click the little arrow that says show more, and her website is there. Just click on home and all her information is there. You can write her there and everything. It's all down, and then I'll also link it later. It's called truthaboutmatrix.com. That's her website, and you can contact her through there. Because a lot of people were asking, so I just wanted to let them know, because a lot of new people are coming in and into the video. So I really I really feel that is so true when you said they couldn't have written it because they can't explain it. They can't break it down the way you can. The characters, they can't even break down the characters and what they represent. And what the whole Matrix movie, like you said, was about the womb and the second coming and the consciousness. They don't even seem the type that would even write such a film. You know what I mean? Or be inspired to write such a film. And if you really break down all the symbolism in the movie with the black coats and the dark this and that, that is melanin. Why do they always wear black? Why would that be put in there?
I'm glad you brought that up because, I changed Hollywood with that. Because back in the day, if you go and everybody can dig into the archives, Hollywood had this little thing about the good guys wearing white and the bad guys wearing black. Mm-hmm. That was a big thing in Hollywood, that they identified, good and angelic with white, and the evil or the bad people wearing black. And then I changed that, because look at my characters, Neo and all of them, and they put them in black. Black was the dominant color code, of the rebels and stuff. The good guys wore black, and they looked great in black. Mm-hmm. So when you go in the Matrix Third Eye book, you will see that.
Right. And so that makes no sense that they would write that, right? And wasn't he inspired by Muhammad Ali and they wanted Will Smith?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Will was asked to do the Neo. It's kind of weird that his wife Jada got to be in it. Mm-hmm. But I knew she was going to be in it. I knew that. I felt it in my spirit because Aaliyah was supposed to be in it, but she died in a plane crash. Mm-hmm. And so Jada got to be in it. But I knew Jada was going to be in it the moment that they were considering both of them. And Will turned it down for the play the white man, James West character, Wild Wild West. Mm-hmm. With Kevin Kline playing Rock. They, he wanted to play that. But years later, he had the deepest regret.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that he wished that he had her. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
He wished that he had her, you know, played Neo. And of course, they wanted Simpson, O.J. Simpson, to play the Terminator. But of course, Schwarzenegger ran right under him.
Mm-hmm.
Schwarzenegger was thinking politically and all the stuff he could do with that money, you know, politically, and he ran right under OJ and got that role. I think he masterminded everything because he had offered me $5 million for the Terminator copyright. And he kind of like asked me what did I want, and he kind of like got mad when I told him the line that he had used in that movie when they cloned him. I think it was 6 days. What's it? The 6 days one. It was one of them when he was cloned, and they stole him from his real life family and put a clone in his place. And he had said that line. You know, he wanted his life back, and so he did every and anything to get it back. And he got it back.
Well,
do you remember that? It was End of Days or 6 Days. One of them was the clone movie. Do you kind of vaguely remember that? Everybody?
I kind of remember it. So, you said OJ was supposed to play that part, but Arnold wanted it.
OJ was supposed to play the Terminator in the movie. OJ was supposed to be the Terminator, not Schwarzenegger. You remember Schwarzenegger played the Terminator?
Yeah. And I never knew OJ was up for that part.
OJ was supposed to play the Terminator. But Schwarzenegger just went under him for the role. You know how you go under somebody for the role?
Yeah. I know. So you're the Oracle. People are asking me about the Oracle. Did you write yourself purposely in there, and when you saw yourself, that was the dead ringer that was taken?
When I was creating the characters, because I created all those characters. So, and you can see it in my book. I created the characters. When I created the characters, I used to watch Alfred Hitchcock, and Alfred Hitchcock put himself in his book. I admired that, and so did Mike Lee. So did Stephen King and Stan Lee, you know, with Marvel Comics. We all copied off of Alfred Hitchcock. If you guys would watch Alfred Hitchcock, he put himself in his own work. Do you remember that?
I do. I watched that every night before I went to sleep as a child.
Oh, so you remember Hitchcock put himself, because he would be in his episode.
Yes, I remember.
So that's where I got it from. And when I saw Mike Lee doing it, I mean, I was like, oh, I know where he got that from. When I saw Stephen King doing that, I know where he got that from. And I knew Stan Lee. Stan Lee, I just went and saw Venom, and Stan Lee was in that one. He puts himself in all of his work.
I've seen that. I've seen him in a lot of the comic movies. So you put yourself in as the Oracle, and you know they're silly enough to go ahead and put you in your own movie that they took.
Well, they couldn't. They didn't know that was me. They didn't know they were going up against somebody who was a visionary seer. All they're looking at is just characters. They're looking at this is a cool story, but they didn't know Matrix was a Latin word for the woman's womb. They didn't know that it came out of the King James's Bible, mentioned 5 times in Scripture, 3 times in Exodus, 2 times in Numbers. Exodus 34th chapter 19 verse. God says, "He who opens up the matrix are my children coming out of the womb." Born with seed, born with soul. So they didn't know that.
So
you know what I'm saying?
They didn't know. It didn't seem like they did.
No, they had no idea. They had no idea what the Matrix was. None of that. I mean, it's mind-boggling, but it's absolutely the truth.
But, you know, that's why your story keeps going, because it's obvious. It's so obvious. And it's just sad that more people, have to go through this, because I know a lot of people are still getting their things taken and not getting credit or copyright or paid for anything. And it's sad that people think that they can do this just because, they might be high up or have some money. But it's good what you're doing, because it's going to stop more people in the future considering, at least some, not all, because, like you said, you can't stop thieves, but it's going to deter some at least. So that's a good thing.
Yes, exactly. I know what you're saying. Go on.
So, this is such like all over the internet that anyone can just go and search your name, and tons of articles will come up. Tons will say this, tons will say that, but you can't find any like rebuttals. You can't find the interviews saying it's crazy, and it's not, you can't find them on interviews talking about it. And you can't find them saying, oh, they have no proof or anything. So it's almost like the people are inclined to, ask and come to the oracle herself and get the true information and the breakdown, and they can use their own judgments and minds and eyes to see, evidence and things like that on their own. And this in itself is opening up consciousness. So even by you just doing what you're doing is opening up consciousness by, getting your justice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, because they gotta know, when they go online, that there's a lot of trolls that want to discredit me. And you know what the greatest hurt is? That all these black people, I gave them their first black superheroes and leadership roles, because the Black Panther are the African people's first superheroes from the African continent, Africa. Because if you notice, Stan Lee is talking about the Black Panthers over in Africa, and these African people have never had a black superhero, so they got the Black Panther. But fast forward back, or go to the past. Let's go back to March 31st, 1999. Black people are seeing themselves on the screen in leadership roles in the Matrix. And they get all this pride because now they got black superheroes in leadership roles. Because if you go to Star Wars, go all the way to Star Wars 77, go back, it's a white science fiction. There are no black people in the future. There are no black people. So you throw a feature maybe one or two black people like Samuel Jackson or Billy D. Williams or something like that, and then white science fiction black people die out the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the late Julian Barnes is saying, look, Sophia Stewart is giving our children black superheroes so they can aspire to be whatever they want to be, including President of the United States. And I feel my work, The Matrix and Terminator, inspires people to vote for Obama to become president.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know when I saw, Morpheus on the Matrix movie, that was, amazing, because you have this man who's freeing Neo from the Matrix, or, his mind, or telling him the truth, bringing him the truth. And I think he was one of the coolest characters, actually. But that was kind of the first time we saw that on a major film. Morpheus.
Yeah, but it's more than Morpheus. Look, it's Tank. What's the actor? I know his name too. Marcus Chong.
Mm-hmm.
We got Anthony Parker. We have Marcus Chong. We have Nona Gay.
Mm-hmm.
We have Roy Jones. We have Henry Perrine. I may not be pronouncing his last name correctly. We have Jada Pickett. We have Gloria Foster, the late Gloria Foster, the Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all these black people.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I need to send over the poster of all these black people. You never seen yourself in a black science fiction in the leading hit role. Come on, people. How are you giving credit for this being a white science fiction when the whites told me, we know you wrote it because we're the bad guys. The agents in the Matrix are the bad guys. The whites, we're never the bad guys in our science fiction. We're Superman. We're Superman. We're the white Superman saving the whole world. And no, Superman doesn't need any help. We're Superman, Iron Man, Batman, Spider-Man, and Rocky saving the world. We're Rocky beating a black man in the movie Rocky, the heavyweight champion of the world. He just beat a black man.
Well, that is science fiction.
How come the whites go? Yeah, how come the whites? That's what they with white science fiction. They don't have any black people in the future. When Star Wars came out with the black teenage guy, they gave him a superhero leading role in Star Wars. All the whites got really upset about that because Star Wars is a white science fiction.
I remember when they got upset.
You remember that came out 2015, 2016?
I remember they were upset that the main character was African or American, black, whatever they called him, many names, but they were upset about that. And that I saw so many comments on the trailer for that movie. And then they even interviewed him and asked him, the actor, about how he felt about all the hate. And he was just like, I don't care. I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
And they didn't even realize that George Lucas is married to a black woman. His wife is black.
Yeah, Lucas is married to a black woman, but Star Wars was the white science fiction for years. It was the white science fiction because the whites understood that when they saw the Matrix, the agents, the white guys were the bad guys, but the black people were all in these super heroes, in leadership roles, helping save the world, like the United Nations here.
So do you ever think...
Yeah, but you never thought about that like that. Well, they talked about me in the news that when you get the Third Eye Matrix book, which I think you got, you're going to be reading the Los Angeles Sentinel, the newspaper talking about me. They said Sophia Stewart in the article is going to come out with the first black science fiction with black superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about the distinct new movie that I'm coming out with, the first of its kind, never seen ever in the theaters ever, and that's what Matrix and Terminator, never seen ever on the screen.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think?
And you can pull this up in the archives. People pull up the Los Angeles Sentinel, go to the archives, and within Los Angeles Sentinel, Sophia Stewart talking about the Third Eye Matrix book.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
Yeah, you sure can. So do you think that there's going to be, it's 2018 and we still have people upset about an actor in a movie not being, the typical Caucasian superhero? What's wrong with a black man or a black woman being a superhero? It's 2018. Do you think that there's going to be racism in the future? Or do you ever think it's going to end? Or why?
Well, everything is turning back to the way it used to be back in the day. Because everything, that's what I'm saying in Matrix 4 movie also,
mm-hmm.
that we all go back. But, everything goes back to the one. Or everything changes. Like it's a polar shift.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm describing the terrain of the earth. Like the water has shifted back into the Grand Canyon and certain parts of California and Arizona is covered with water, and Vegas is an ocean front, it's got water and ships in it, and I'm talking about yachts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And certain part of Utah is covered with water now because water came back to where it used to be. Because, water used to be in the Grand Canyon. You can look at all the mountains and see where the water used to be.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at mountains and see the ridges and stuff where water used to be at one time. And that's all water does. It just shifts and goes back to where it used to be. Say if it was a lake there 20 years ago and it dried up, and all of a sudden that water comes back and the lake is beautiful and fills up and everybody's amazed, like, wow, that lake was dry for 10 or 20 years or 15 years, and wow, now it's beautiful and fills up. Well, that's how water does. And the polar shift now, it's the Earth's rotational, I think a lot of this weather we're having and a lot of this water, hurricanes, I think the water is trying to reclaim the land. And, like the ice, melting over at the South Pole, the North Pole, and Arctic, where it's changing. And the Antarctic, the ice caps are melting, and that turns into water. And, the Earth's rotational pull, or the gravitational pull of the evolution or revolution of the Earth is revolving, is changing. I can see the sun rising from the west coast now and settling in the east, and said this at Matrix 4. And now we go from 120 years to 900 years of life. Because because now everything is lighter gravity wise. Right. Gravitational pull on the Earth is different. We're lighter. We live longer. We eat healthy. You know what I'm talking about, and we're more knowledgeable.
So, what have you heard about the second suns or the other suns in the sky? Did you write that into the Matrix at all, or is that just?
No, I didn't mention the sun, but I've heard about people talking about the sun. You know what I'm saying? I've heard people talking about it, but I think that what they're going to see in the Matrix is going to be astronomical. You know what I'm talking about? It's astronomical.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
Astronomical. Yes.
Yes, I think it's going to be astronomical, meaning that what I'm talking about, and I'm speaking a little bit on it, is stuff that people have never seen before. Like Homeland Security, they came to me, they called me, they said, you know what? They had autographed copies of my book, the Homeland Security and the FBI agent, and they were like, the Homeland Security was like, you solved the Roswell incident. And I was like, what do you mean I solved the Roswell incident? Because I'm not aware of what they're talking about. They said, well, when they captured these alien ships and the aliens back in 1947, the aliens died, because I guess it was a bad crash. But they had their ships, and they broke the ships down by aerodynamics, and the ships had Egyptian hieroglyphics on the belly of the ship. And they didn't know how the ships flew until they read my Matrix 4 book. And the Matrix 4 book, I'm talking about these alien ships, how they hover like helicopters, but how they break the time barrier speed when they fly, and how they use, magnetic pulsion and the reversal of gravity, the magnetic ring pulsion. I'm actually describing all these magnetic wing pulsions.
Like electromagnetic
gravity, or how they fly and how they cloak invisible. But I just never thought about them being alien ships when I'm describing all of this. Until Homeland Security sends me the classified information from the Pentagon. And I will give people who will buy the Matrix 4 book, the e-book, or the physical book, I will give you this information from the Pentagon so you can see that it's authentic, that it's real, and you can see the ship has been broken down by aerodynamics. But they didn't know how they flew until I described the magnetic wing pulsions and the reversal of gravity. And I will send it over to you to remind me to send it to you, okay? It's very important.
Yeah,
you need to read it and see it so you can tell the fans and people, wow, it's real.
I want to see it. Because I'm really interested in science and how things work and operate, especially electromagnetics and anti-gravity and all that, reverse gravity. Really interested in all of that. So I will remind you, and then I'll share it with my audience as well. I'll talk about it and things like that. because that's kind of what I do, on my videos. I help people come into their consciousness, teach and share things that I learned because I'm still a student, of course. And so it's almost like just opening consciousness together. I learn from other people, they learn from me. And when we were talking last night, because we had a conversation last night, I let a lot of the stuff that you said sink in because I realized that we use a lot of different vocabulary now, but it has the same meaning. So a lot of people will say, well, what do you mean God? Okay, source creator. Okay, well, what do you mean this? It's we have to remember that words and languages and things like that are meant to separate. And so sometimes you have to just stop and let things sink in and then, kind of make sure your understanding and their understanding is the same because words will get in your way, especially with like new age words and, things like that. So a lot of young people tend to want more universal language versus, certain, languages that were like biblical references or things like that. So I just had to sit and think and sit with it for a while, and I knew exactly everything that you were speaking about is the same thing that I, you know, understand and believe. So sometimes you just have to sit with it, especially because words tend to separate. I guess that's kind of like the Tower of Babel, right?
Yes, well, I think everybody's getting kind of pretty much tired of this bang, shoot 'em up, kill 'em movies. It's the same old stuff over and over, How many times can you kill somebody? I think conscious movies and metaphysical movies, like what I'm offering, it consciously wake you up. It sets you on another whole atmosphere of thought and, evolution. And that's what people are waiting on.
Right.
If you go into the movie theaters, how many times can you kill somebody? How many ways can you kill somebody? Most of the movies don't even have any storylines. They're not conscious movies. You know what I'm talking about? And then when they see a conscious movie, I think they're starving for that. You know what I'm talking about? They're waiting and they're starving for it.
Exactly. And when they see one, it becomes like instant classic because people have been waiting for it and they're gonna, run to see it, buy the DVD or whatever, because it's meaningful and it's a part of what I call, back in the days they had ancient texts, they had the Bible, they had the Emerald Tablets, the Book of Enoch, the Dead Sea Scrolls. We have movies, we have books, and we're finishing and writing and creating the rest of the story.
Right.
So when people get something that they can feel in a frequency with and that's meaningful and spiritual, they tend to latch onto it.
Yeah, I can believe that.
So I know they're waiting on Matrix 4 for sure.
Oh man, think about it. They're definitely waiting on Matrix 4. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
You said you wanted to do a 3D version, as well, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be 3D because back on March 31st, 1999, there was no 3D. And it wasn't around. So no one ever got to see the Matrix in real 3D. So now they're going to see it in real 3D. Quantum physics, calculus, ancient sacred geometry jumping off the screen. Can you imagine
that? It's almost going to be like astral traveling or, if it's like that.
Super. Really super. That's just going to be, it's amazing.
I can't wait. And
that's what I think.
The sacred geometry popping off the screen, never been done.
Yeah, well, yeah, I saw it. Like a CGI special effects company had me and my people, the people that work with me, tell us to come in as guests, and they showed us Matrix 1 in real 3D. It was mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. It was just astronomical. Skip Belcher, he was one of the ones,
Mm-hmm.
Skip is supposed to be joining us.
Mm-hmm.
He was one that saw it like that. I can't wait till he comes on and joins us tonight,
Mm-hmm.
so that he can tell others about it, because he got to experience that. What an incredible experience. You know what I'm saying? To actually see the Matrix in real 3D. I mean, come on.
Right.
That is, it's never been done before. The fans have never seen it. So, that's going to be a specialty. My own prophecy is that when it's announced and it's time to get free ticket sales, people are going to be waiting for 2 years just trying to get in to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe that. You know what I'm saying? I really, really believe that.
Yeah, that seems like, and once it's released and seen, the word of mouth and, the reviews, it's just going to make people want to go see it again and again and again.
Yeah, they will.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, over and over again. I mean, it's metaphysical. It's, these movies that are out now, they're not conscious. I mean, they're just not the kind of movies. You know what I'm talking about? It's about killing and not really sharing any information to help people grow spiritually or grow, give them any type of growth,
Because after the Matrix came out, you saw a lot of people start awakening in consciousness, even, because every time someone makes a video about, any type of consciousness, they always, because I do it, refer to the movie The Matrix as an example. And a lot of people do that, and it's because it's so profound. The writing was so profound that it's still being mentioned today. And that, that movie came out, and I know you wrote the book back in the, way in the 80s, but the movie came out in 1999 and it's 2018 and people are still referring.
Yeah, well, the Terminator came out in 84, though, so it was still part of the 80s, but Matrix came out in 99. So I see what you're saying. You know what I'm talking about?
So they're still talking about it today as if it was made yesterday. And so that's how you know that it's and they don't talk about the other 2 and 3 like that, just the first one. So, and that's because they know and they feel something with that. It registers to them. And I also feel like since that movie came out and it's been referred to so many times, everybody knows what you're talking about when you say the word Matrix. The movie, the consciousness, and all over the world. If you type that in, that's the first thing that pops up. So it's now embedded into history as probably one of the best movies that has been. And you actually were the creator.
Yeah, the creator and the owner of it.
And how would
people need to know that
exactly?
I created it and I own it. And
how
they need to get over these lies.
Right.
In the windows and stop trolling me.
And how did that make you feel?
A liar and calling me out of my name. You have no right to do that.
Right. How did that make you feel when you realized that they had taken and tried to run with your creation and what you owned and your copyright? How did that make you feel?
Just like what everyone feels when they got their books stolen at school, their shoes stolen, their boyfriend stolen, their husband stolen, their car stolen, or their food stolen, or their money stolen. It's all the same feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody takes something that doesn't belong to you, you don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, you're going to go and do something about it, and that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it, and I stood up for not only myself, but I stood up for others and other people's copyrights.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they steal my copyrights, they're not coming to steal yours.
Right.
So we're one and the same. If they violate the rights of one people here in America, they violate the right of all of us.
Right.
And we need to stand up for each other and deal with it and not try to identify with the cavalry. Cavalry is running the Indians off of their lands and killing them and killing out their food. So how are you identifying that to be righteous? It's not righteous. That's not right.
Mm-mm.
Anybody that commit a wrong is wrong, and you need not identify with the wrong. They don't need you to help them on the wrongness. You
Right.
need to be speaking truth, because these same people, same studios, same people in Hollywood, they don't care who they steal from. So they're not going to pat you on the back because you're helping them to steal. That's what it's called, aiding and abetting. When you get on there and you tell people that Sophia Stewart is a liar, that she didn't do it, and you call me out of my name, and you don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you're reading old news and dead news on the internet, and you think it's clever and smart. But if you look at the date, it's 2005.
Right. I'm one for doing research and, looking at things closer instead of just going by what people say or, whatever. And that's what I try to tell people and teach people, to do your research. Once you do your research, you'll have the answers that you need and that you were looking for, and the knowledge that most people won't have, because most people don't even research anything anymore. They just go with the surface level of things and keep it moving. And that's where they get in trouble and mess up.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have to stand up for what's right. You have to defend people that bullying people, that bullying kids. All you kids need to stand up against the bullies. If somebody is bullying one, they're going to come after you guys. So all you need to come after the bully. So all of you at one time, 20 of you.
Mm-hmm.
Come after the bully and tell them we're not going to take any bullying here in school.
Right.
That's all you got to do. With a police, with a bully police. Mm-hmm. Anybody bullying is 20 or 30 of us, we're going to take you down. We might not be snitches to the teacher, but this is a message. There's going to be no bullying and harming any kids. Mm-hmm. And everybody, these kids bringing guns, remember those guns, bullets don't have no name. They can kill you or anybody. Mm-hmm. So report it. Report it to somebody. Even if you tell the janitors, let the janitor go in there and tell if you don't want to be a snitch. Well, tell somebody, because guns harm everybody, because the bullet has no name. All you kids, listen to me out there. Stop the bullying. You're 20 or 30 years old, tell the bully, we're not going to have that. Nobody's going to bully nobody in this school as long as we're in school here. Become the bully police.
Mm-hmm. That's what my daughter Sasha is. She stands up for people that don't stand up for themselves, and she's little herself.
But they need to do it as groups. They need to do 20 or 30 of them to get together and tell the bullies there's not going to be any bullying here, because we all down right here. We're the bully police.
Right.
Because when everybody sticks together, 20 or 30 or more, and you do it with good and God, you can stop anything from happening.
That's true.
And it protects all the good kids.
Yeah, they even have a program now.
When people stand up for truth.
That's right. They even have a program now in my daughter's school where you can sign up to be a person that keeps people in line or reports things like that. And Sasha signed right up. She was like, because I don't like seeing people get mistreated. And she's like,
I don't either. I hate for those kids. A lot of kids committed suicide and they died because of people bullying. Kids have been abused and raped and hurt and harmed. They don't know how to love, so they bully. Mm-hmm. Well, somebody needs to put their arms around them and hug them and give them a hug to stop that bullying. Mm-hmm. Somebody needs to give them some love and they'll stop that bullying.
Yeah.
It's kids that have been raped and dogged out at home or the bullies.
Right.
They've been hurt, they've been harmed, and they want to harm and hurt others.
That's true. And I think if more people realize that, because if more people realize
I wish somebody would put it on a T-shirt, give a bully a hug. No, that's right.
That's a good
Give
T-shirt.
a bully a hug. Give a bully a kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a hug. Give him a kiss. Give him a prayer. That changes everything when you give a bully some love.
Mm-hmm. Because they weren't expecting it, and that's what they really needed.
Yes, exactly. That I really want to, I stand up for women and children,
mm-hmm.
and I really want to get in to talk about the women and the children. I think that the women and children needs more protection. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And people need especially the males, they need to start monitoring all the neighborhoods and being protective and being vigilant. The males,
mm-hmm.
all the males out there need to start becoming aware of things and helping and healing the neighborhood. Really start to protect the women and the children.
Mm-hmm.
Look out for them. Because somebody might look out for your woman and your child.
That's right.
So look out for women and children. You see somebody doing something, stand up. Don't let that happen. Because that could be somebody standing up for your relative, your mother, your cousin, your sister, your child.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I want to put that message out to everybody. Hope you're listening.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're hearing what I'm saying, because that's what I'm going to champion. The women and children causes.
That's true. And so, what advice do you have for the women as well?
I think all the women should look out and be careful, in the bathrooms, and make sure that no males get in the bathroom on the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure the males stay out of the bathroom with women and children.
Mm-hmm.
And the women can do that because the women are mothers, and mothers are protected, and mothers are courageous like the female lions.
Mm-hmm.
We're very protective, very courageous. We all know how to stand up and not let any males come in on our women and children in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Stand strong, stand vigilant, but don't let nothing happen to our women and children. Women and children are our future. Remember that.
Mm-hmm.
They're our future. Now get you a T-shirt. Get you a T-shirt. Get you a T-shirt and put on there. Give a bully a hug. Give a bully a hug.
That will stop bullying just by itself. The T-shirt.
Oh, the T-shirt would be magnificent because any bully would get ashamed.
Exactly.
That would shame them.
It's like
give a bully a hug.
Reverse psychology right there.
Oh man, that would embarrass them. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, but
you wouldn't even want to be you wouldn't even want to be a bully because you have to get a hug.
Exactly.
Everybody knows what's wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Psychologically, they know you got a problem. You ain't got no love at home.
Mm-hmm. But that is a good T-shirt.
Abused and raped.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I know that T-shirt will sell if someone makes it.
Yes, I know if someone makes it, it'll sell also. You guys really need to do that. Wear T-shirts. Go out and start an anthem with T-shirts. Give a bully a hug. There's all kinds of bullies people out there. They're in your office. They're at your job. They're at your churches. They're all over. They're on the streets. They're all over.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the school. They're all over the place. And for them to see that on a shirt, a T-shirt, on the back of the shirt, on the front, give a bully a hug, man, I tell you, that will change a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
That would change a lot. Trust and believe. I can't wait. I hope people will take up that anthem and they would start printing out the T-shirts, the sweatshirts, and whatever with on the back and the front. Give a bully a hug.
That's true. So Your advice for women is to basically protect the children. Yes, I totally agree. I drive my daughter and pick them up from school every day. Make sure, when they go to the restroom that I'm right there. And, very important because so many children, um, when they grow up to be adults, whatever happens to them in their childhood, they take it with them and it affects how they see the world, view the world, treat the world. And if they feel if they don't feel protected when they're young, then they'd never feel like, you know, they can trust, or they never feel protected ever, and so they develop, certain types of anxieties. And I talk to a lot of women who, things have happened to, and it messes their entire life, or it affects their entire life. So it's very important to protect children, boys and girls, because it doesn't just happen to little girls, happens to boys as well. And that's one thing.
Yeah, it does happen to boys. It's very important. That's why I said women and children, because I do mean the males too. I'm not overlooking the males but it's more powerful and strong males than there are, weaker ones or smaller ones that. So if we would get all the very powerful masculine males that are more powerful to protect the younger males, and to leave them with leadership and have pride and helping and healing. That would be great.
And a lot of people, especially young people in today's society, they tend to not see the value or the sense of being, in that role anymore. They want to blur gender roles or say, "Oh, well, that's not my job," or, you need to do this and I don't have to do that. What do you feel about these new type of gender roles where no one wants to take responsibility for, like you said, a masculine man is strong and, he was born with muscles for a reason. Why does a woman have to do what he's supposed to be doing as a protector, when she's not obviously born with the muscular build of a man?
Well, I think that men should, go out and really assert their masculinity by being very, very protective, period. You know what I'm talking about? Because you can. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you can do that.
Right. What? If you don't use it, you'll lose it.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can. You can do that.
Right. So.
You know what I'm saying? I think that they could help a lot of young males to mature, to heal, because they want to change things. Man wants to go in and start creating other entities, other beings, and I don't know what these other beings are going to be like, being soulless and seedless, because man is trying to grasp now. I saw something that I think a lot of people might have seen on Messenger the other day. I saw white males having sex with pigs, all installed. They were all naked, and they were 3 of them, and there was all these pigs lined up in stalls, and they were having sex with them. But what I picked up was that they were trying to create another gender of beings with these animals, because they just voted in that they want to add another gender to the birth certificate. I hear that in the news. They want to add another gender to the birth certificate. Then I see these white males having sex with these swine, with these pigs and stalls, and it was like they were feeding them for them to birth another breed of beings. That's what I picked up when I saw this.
Well, I was talking about how they do that experiment with the chicken egg and the male sperm and a hypodermic needle online, and they're starting to try to create uh, some type of genetic engineered being as well because they're just sitting there bored. I don't know. And then they flush them down the toilet, and now you have stuff in the sewer that's alive. So
yeah, but what is this going to create? Because what type of beings are they trying to create that's going to be seedless and soulless? Because you got to remember when Dr. Frankenstein, he created the Frankenstein monster, was named after Dr. Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. Well, the Frankenstein monster had no penis, and so he couldn't have any children. He was a monster. Mm-hmm. He was a monster because he was soulless and seedless. Mm-hmm. And he didn't have anybody to love him. So he went out killing. He started killing kids, and then he started killing people. Mm-hmm. He was very angry about his situation because he was a loner. He was only his kind.
Right.
So with these beings that they're creating, these genderless beings, what type of beings are they going to create? Because if you go back in history in the Bible, this has happened before, and they had to get wiped off of the face of the earth with the flood. Mm-hmm. Because they must have been an abomination to God, and they must have been doing some very wicked things towards people because they had to be wiped off. That's what the flood was all about. And mm-hmm. God started all over with the new creation of people. Mm-hmm. And it always seems to end the same way. Mm-hmm. If you look at Babylon, and you look at Mesopotamia, and you look at Rome, and you look at Pompeii, and you look at Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was sodomizing in Gandaria. Mm-hmm. And when somebody wanted Sodom and Gomorrah to be saved from a cataclysm, well, the angels went in there to see if they could find anybody redeeming for it to be saved. And they tried to have sex with the angels.
They was having a party up in there.
Rome was the same way. They got into the bestiality of Babylon. They started having sex with the animals, and they wanted to have sex with the kids, and they started having sex with other official people's wives, and they wanted to legalize all of the things that went against the laws of God. Mm-hmm. Everything that went against good and wonderful, they wanted to legalize. They wanted to bring the most wicked things that would harm people, because some of the things would bring cataclysms and scourges. A scourge would be like a plague, an epidemic. Mm-hmm. Even if it brought in zombies that ate people and killed people. Like a few years ago, it was a man. He was some kind of monster. It was a homeless man laying on the streets, and this is a true story. I can't remember. You can pull it up on YouTube, and it's still there. But anyway, this man, he was a monster of some sort. He saw the homeless man. He just jumped on him and started eating his face off, eating him alive.
I know. I saw the bath salts.
They called the cops, and cops came in. They had to kill this man or this thing. But this thing was eating this man. You can look on YouTube and see how his face looks now after this incident. Can you imagine how terrifying that you must even still have dreams where this man just pounced on him and started eating him raw? I mean, live.
He thought it was.
You actually see it in the video where he's eating this man's face off.
That's crazy. And I saw that video, and that poor guy that was getting eaten probably thought it was the zombie apocalypse.
Well, yeah, because it did remind you of the zombie apocalypse. It really did remind you of that, because I'm looking at it. It's in the news, and it's a real live news report. So where did this man come from, and what was he, and who had created him? Because Man can create the most egregious things in the laboratory. They can create living things, GMO, genetically modified organisms. I feel you love that movie Titan. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to see it. And when this man was a hybrid, he was a graft. He was grafted. And he had the DNA of animals. And so what are they creating? And why do they want to give these things a name on a birth certificate? Because they're creating some type of lab people, a lab thing. Monsters. They're creating something, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and they are. And even if you read in the book of Enoch the prophet, it says, when it does the prophecy, it says their sciences will also be taken. So they will not be able to create those type of things anymore. And do you remember when they reported that, something flew over or something happened and it neutralized the nuclear weapons in some area and it just wouldn't work? So there are other energies that are also reacting.
Yeah, working here. Yes.
And so if that can happen, if you can just fly over, or some energy can fly over you and shut down all your weapons, I mean, what is to keep them?
I heard that they were they were UFOs too that was shutting down the weapons to keep them from blowing up any nuclear weapons, and they were bombing all the underground bases and stuff to keep. For people who were going underneath the earth, going into the bowels of the earth. And if you look at the old H.G. Wells prophecy and H.G. Wells' old books and the time-traveling books of H.G. Wells in the movie, they're actually talking about how they wanted to start something on top of the earth and go underground, but whatever happened, they didn't accomplish it. But they got trapped under the ground. They started eating people. Cannibalism. Because they didn't want to come out into the sun, as the sun would burn them up, because they'd been out on the ground for a long time, got trapped underneath there.
Well, I think that was Charles Manson's plan when he started his whole deal. He said that he wanted to start a race war and then go underground and come back out and be special and be the new Jesus. Did you ever hear that?
No, I didn't hear about that, but I can imagine whatever it is he wanted to do. He had that swastika on the top of his head, so I knew he was some kind of communism, involved, and people, just no telling what all they had plans, But I'll tell you this: man can make all the plans in the world, but only God will be done. And a lot of people do not believe in God anymore. That's another thing. The way to really enslave mankind is to remove God from all of the people. And everybody that removes God is enslaving their own selves, because God does exist, but a lot of them do not want to accept God. They don't want to believe anymore. And that was the only protection that they had, was the fact that they had God. A long time ago, many, many years ago, they had the belief in God, but they wanted a man. They wanted a king. They wanted to follow after man, and God told them what was going to happen if they didn't follow after God and they followed after man, that man was them, infallible, and that he would put their sons in the military, and then he would make concubines or whores out of their daughters.
I feel like people.
But they wanted a man. They wanted a man.
Right. I feel like people turn away from that because it's so confusing. So they want to use the word creator, source creator, because there's so many people that are saying, "Oh, well, which God are you speaking of?" So a lot of
listen. When they say which God are you speaking of, back in the day, if you go into the Bible, they all had different gods back then. So which God are they speaking of? That's the term that should be common, because all of them had different gods back then, and now they all got different gods now.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. It is no different.
Right. But there's only one source.
But this is what I'm saying. God says that his children, the source, said that his children would hear his voice and they would know him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that make sense? They would hear his voice, they would know it.
Yes. It makes sense. And especially if people read a lot of the ancient texts, it would make a lot of sense. And once you understand them, then but it's not easy to convince other people when, like you said, they wanted a man.
We're not supposed to.
Right.
This is the deal. We're not supposed to convince people
Mm-hmm.
to follow after God or change what they believe in, because that's only Satan doing that. Satan wants people to go over here, go over there, do this, do that. God gave man free will. Whether he does something right or he does something wrong, it's left up to him. That free will belongs to him. It should not be taken by anyone.
Exactly.
Because this is why. Because no one can save another. You can only save yourself by looking for truth.
Mm-hmm.
And looking for better answers and better ways to have a better life here on earth.
Right.
But no one should take anyone's free will. If they want to worship the devil, if they want to lay down and die, or whatever they want to do, they were given the free will, and God doesn't even take their free will away from them.
Mm-hmm.
So let them believe what they want to believe, because you know what I'm talking about? Because it's their free will, and their choices to choose whatever it is, whether it's good or bad or indifferent.
Right.
And when we try to force people or try to change them or try to convince them or try to get them to do something that goes against their will, we're tampering with their free will that was given to them to do whatever they wanted with it.
Right. So, like the
Crusades.
Crusades.
I think that's why God doesn't interfere in man's business.
Right. So the Crusades and the people that forced Christianity on other people, that was not very godlike.
Well, forcing anything on anyone, no matter what it is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you're forcing somebody, that's an evil in itself, to force somebody, to make somebody do something. Do you see what I'm talking about? Against their free will. And that's what the government, and that's what all people do, no matter what countries you go in. They just force people. Like back in the day, they forced people, they couldn't read Bibles.
Right.
They couldn't drive cars over in Saudi, the women, until just recently.
I know. And
just forcing things on people. But people that force this thing on people, if somebody was to turn around and force something on them, they wouldn't want that.
Right.
The very people that are forcing things on people would not like for somebody to force something on them.
Exactly. Now, can you explain what the Satan or the devil represents to you? Because there's some new people in here, and I don't want them to just get confused.
Right. Yeah, I don't want no confusion either, because confusion doesn't come from God.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from the evil one. So if you're confused, that ain't coming from me. I'm not confusing anybody. I'm saying that God gave everybody free will to do what you want, whether it's good or bad. Go on.
I wanted you to break down what devil or Satan meant, so that they understand when you say those words, what that means to you.
Well, whenever I say devil, the Ebonic word is the evil. That's what a devil is. Look at the word D as in David, or D as in THE, and look at the word EVIL, or DEVIL, the evil. I'm just using the Ebonic word to explain it. A devil is anybody that does evil.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a devil is. Anybody that perpetrates evil. And what is the evil? Is going against what is good. Okay,
right.
Live, LIVE, going forward. But
Okay.
what is evil is the same word of live, L-I-V-E, going backwards is E-V-I-L, the same word.
Right.
They're one and the same. L-I-V-E going forward, E-V-I-L going backwards. And look at the battery in a car. There's only one battery propelling a car. We can pull up the hood and look at the battery. The battery has two charges on it. It has a positive charge and it has a negative charge. And what it's telling you is how energy flows in this world.
Mm-hmm.
When the energy is flowing forward, that's the positive post in the battery. When the energy is flowing backwards, that's the negative post, and then your car may be burning down or burning up.
Right. Exactly.
So what you guys need to know about what Satan is, Satan means against, against the order, against the natural order of life.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go against the natural order of life, like say for instance, if you go and you're a male and you're in the war and you accidentally get shot in the penis and you lose your penis or whatever, they're gonna put a body bag on you. You're gonna have a body bag where you have to urinate out of that bag. How do I know about this? Because I come from a military law enforcement family. Mm-hmm. You gotta urinate somewhere. If you lose your penis, you're gonna have to have somewhere to urinate. If you can't urinate out of your anus, you have a penis to urinate out of. So if it gets shot off or something happens, then they're going to put a body bag on you. It's kind of disgusting because you have to urinate out of that bag.
You know, I've seen all that because of what I do. I've seen a lot of things like that.
Well, they don't tell people this. This is why if I was a male, I would never get my penis cut off. Hell no. Because you have to pee somewhere and there's going to be a bag on your body. And it's one of the most disgusting things because you guys need to look it up on YouTube and see this bag. You need to really see this because they don't tell you things. I studied to be a doctor as well as an attorney, and I'm about telling people the truth, but you can decide to do whatever you want because it's your body, your free will. But somebody needs to tell people the truth so they can make the right decisions for themselves. And someone needs not be afraid to tell people the truth. So you're not taking anybody's will away from them by telling the truth. You're just giving them better ways of looking at better options.
Right.
Like you can understand things a lot better because somebody is not going to tell you. You jump up and you do something, and then it's too late. You can't undo something, and then you're crying and you're sad and you're mad, and you say, "Why did somebody tell me this?"
Like joining the military.
That's what happens when everybody in the world makes mistakes. They said, "Why did somebody tell me about this?"
Like don't join the military or don't go to war.
Well, why do you want to go to war and
exactly.
kill people?
Exactly.
Why do you want to kill bodies? Why do you want to harm somebody?
Well, they set it up.
Want to do that.
They set it up as a scholarship program, or they make it sound good. Oh, you can go to college, you can get paid. Oh, you'll be doing a service for your country. Oh, you'll be a hero. But
they're not going to need that anymore. They're not going to even need you to join the military to kill anymore. They're going to be doing computerized warfare with drones, and they're going to be using machines and all that stuff to fight the war. I'm going to show it in the Matrix 4, a whole new regiment, a whole new life, a whole new everything. Like a video game almost. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Right.
That's why they're closing up a lot of the bases because they don't need to do that anymore. They can because wars are only about making money.
Right.
They were killing people for their land. They were killing people for their resources, killing people for money, killing people for all kinds of stuff. But you don't need to do that anymore. Trafficking makes $152 billion a year, trafficking women and children. So you don't need to do that anymore. The making drugs legalized in all the states, and at some point it will go federal. And people will be making billions of dollars. They're making millions, and almost going into the billions. If you add them all up now, but they're making so much money by making drugs legal And then, of course, prostitution in Vegas is legal. And then, like I said, one thing leads to another. And then all the things that used to be wicked or considered bad or not good for you, they'll start making them legal. And, you got to draw a line somewhere because it's going to start harming a lot of people. So you're going to have to learn to draw the line and see what's good for you and what's good for your kids and the generations to come.
Mm-hmm.
You got to start standing up and drawing the lines and say, no, you're not going to be here forever. You only got a certain amount of time to be here, everybody. And I think that you should make the best of the time you got here. And think about that you only got a certain amount of time to do whatever you're going to do here on earth. And God sets the day of your birth and the day of your death, not man. So don't worry about man, worry about God, and just think about what you're going to do to make this a better world before you leave here, or what you came here to do to elevate and make changes. And of course, there's going to be the ones out there, I know you're listening, that want to tear down and destroy and kill and whatever. Then, hey, that's got nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's on you. Whatever you do, it's not on you. Whatever I do, it's on me. I know I came for a good purpose to tell you the truth. And what you do with the truth is up to you, because I'm not here to change atheists into believers. I'm not here to change believers into atheists. I'm just simply here to tell you got a lot of choices and choose well.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever you choose is where you're going to end up.
Right. That's so true. And
it's going to affect you.
That's true.
You might think it's going to affect us when you do bad things, but it doesn't affect others. It basically affects you.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have the appearance that it affects others, but believe me, it's definitely going to affect you when you act.
Right.
So I'm going back to the adversarial. So adversarial or Satan or against the natural order of God and that's the natural order of good. That's what I think evil is, or devil, or satanic, or whatever, that goes against the natural order of things.
Right.
If you pervert,
right.
say you got good water and you go and you pervert the water, that's evil, that's the devil, that's going against God.
Right.
Because if you put some poison in the water, you put some chemicals in there, or you put some radiation, or whatever, you're killing the fish, the dolphins, or whatever, that's against the natural order of good. That's what evil is.
A lot of things get perverted in
doing whatever is good.
That's so true. So many things have been perverted. People don't even know they've been perverted. They think the perverted thing is the good thing because, especially younger people, because they weren't around when the thing wasn't perverted. So they don't understand. Cause I see a lot of young girls, cause I'm almost 40, I'm 39, but I see a lot of younger women who think it's perfectly okay to do certain things or to accept certain treatment because it seems normal now, when a long time ago it wasn't. It was like totally against, what was correct or what was natural, or what was right. So I feel like they don't even understand.
Yeah, because you're Gen X, you're generational X. Go on.
And it's sad because they don't know, and people have to tell them. They don't understand their even their true value as a human being anymore, because they don't show you that. Someone has to tell them. And if their own parents don't tell them, because some parents, they don't even know themselves. So you end up having, people that don't even know what's right or wrong anymore because it's been perverted so long, or no one teaches or tells people anymore.
Well, I think everybody should dig for the truth, because something inside of you tells you when something is right or wrong. If you get this bad feeling or you get a feeling, we all have something to guide us whether we pay attention to it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that you have to dig for the truth. You have to go out and research it and look for it. Yes, they grew up on perversion. They grew up in not knowing any better, because they say, for instance, we would go to YouTube and we would look and we would see what was here 100 years ago. We'd be amazed because we go on there on YouTube and you could look at what was here 100 years ago and you say, wow, that is so deep.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like shocked. I mean, you can't even imagine because nobody told you that was there 100 years ago. So this is why you gotta go out and you gotta search and you gotta research, because I don't think God holds it against people that are doing things that they don't know any better. They don't know that they're doing the evil, or they don't know they're doing something perverted. I think that they're held accountable when they find out the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were killing somebody and you didn't know any better, and somebody raised you up doing that, you wouldn't know that you were doing something bad.
Right.
And then later on, when you found out the truth and you go back and continue to do it, it's like a dog going back and eating its vomit. Mm-hmm. See, a dog ate its vomit and he didn't know he was eating vomit. Mm-hmm. Because nobody ever told him he was eating vomit. This can happen. This is real.
I've seen it.
He could be eating his vomit and not know he's eating vomit. And, somebody say, you know what, dog, you're not supposed to eat that. That is disgusting. That's nasty. Well, he doesn't know. Mm-hmm. Then one day the light bulb comes on, he sees something better, and then he sees the difference, and he doesn't want to eat that anymore because that tastes nasty now because he had something better.
Right.
And that's what happens when people change. Mm-hmm. When they find something better in their life from the old that they were doing, they don't want to do the old anymore. It don't feel right, it doesn't taste right, it doesn't look right, and it ain't working.
Right.
Not working at all. And they see the difference. But if somebody has tasted something different in life, something good, and they go back to the old way, that's when I think God holds them responsible.
Mm-hmm. When you know better, but you don't do better.
A better life, and then you go back to doing the same old thing.
Right.
Going back and doing it. That's the part I think is the sin and the curse.
Right. Because you're not going to get anywhere. Doing
you know what it is,
mm-hmm.
and you don't want to change. You know what it is, and you want to go back to it. And if you can't go back to the past, so that's the end for you.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
That's the end for you. It's deep, but it's true.
What do you think makes people want to go back, even though they know better? Is it because it's easier, or?
Well, they either like it. They either like it, or it's just the easy way out for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot has changed until you can't go back.
Mm-hmm. Or somebody's gotten used to something and they don't want change. They fear change.
Well, it's going to bother them until something happens. Sometimes choices and change is made for you.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So I know it's getting kind of late. I didn't want to keep you all night, but is there anything else you want to share with us before we go?
I would just like to tell people I got ebooks available.
Mm-hmm.
Go to my website, get you a book, get the Matrix book. Let's make some great changes on Earth. We're here. Let's do some really great things. Let's leave a legacy of good.
Yeah.
Instead of evil.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't know who God is, you know what good is.
Mm-hmm.
You have some in your life at some point in time, and you might be enjoying it right now. So let's just continue to make life good for each and every one of ourselves. That's what I'd like to say. That's
a good thing, because everybody understands good.
Yeah, they
can't
have
mistake
some
that.
good at some point in their lives. Some good has happened, and it's a great thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thank you for being with us and sharing all that good knowledge with us, and teaching us some things, because I definitely learned a lot tonight. I'm sure other people have as well. And I will link all of your information on this video and send it to you as well, so that you can watch it and see what the people were commenting while you were speaking, if you get curious. And
send me their comments, and
okay.
I want to thank everybody for listening. And whether you agree or disagree, I'm not a type of person I got thick skin. It doesn't bother me, because I'm not here for you to agree with me. I wish you guys would have asked more questions. I love that. And I'm not trying to change your beliefs or change anything about you. I'm simply going to state facts, and you can Google and look up things while I'm speaking. I'm only here to help. Whether you want to accept it or not, that's fine. I have no problems with that. Just sending love out to everyone.
Okay. Well, that's a good.
And
that's
my
a good
website,
message.
truthaboutmatrix.com.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Sophia. And I'm going to definitely be emailing you, and hopefully we can still speak in the future and get more things going. And definitely going to do a book review on the books that are on the way that I ordered, Matrix 4, and get it out there as well.
And I can't wait until you put out the reviews so everybody can know that I'm the real writer of the Matrix and Terminator. You guys will not be disappointed. A film is a film. It's not. It's like you go and do it like that with your cameras on your phones and you videotape what's out there. All you're doing is making a copy of what's already there. That's the source word. So I'm the source word. A film is just what it is. It's just a tape or something. So I will talk to you guys soon and love you guys, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, y'all. Thanks for being here. I know y'all have questions, so I guess I'll take y'all's questions now. So we were on the phone for almost 3 hours. Oh my goodness. That's a long time. Thank y'all for watching and asking the questions. I didn't ask her all the questions because some of them were a little strange. But if she wants to go back and look through the comments and answer them, or if you want to comment, she's probably going to be looking through. So do y'all have any questions for me? This was amazing. Yes, you enjoyed it. Bye. Okay. So a lot of people were asking me about, and certain words that she was using that maybe you're not, that aren't so universal. But just remember, a lot of words mean the same thing as, like she would say God, that's source, creator, things like that. So don't let those words kind of confuse you, because a lot of people miss the entire point because of vocabulary. Everything that, a lot of people miss the point because they're paying attention to the words that are being used and not the information. Because I can get a lot of information, and if I keep focusing on one word that I'm uncomfortable with, then I miss the entire thing. So a lot of you guys have to get out of that. I know a lot of people are sticklers for words, and that's why they're there, to keep you from the knowledge. Okay, so just have to remember that. Just like I can decode different books, just like you can decode the Bible, you need to be able to do that in everyday life with people. Because sometimes, if a person chooses a certain word, it shouldn't keep you from getting the information, And I had to learn that as well, because it can make you uncomfortable if you're, not religious, or you don't even have to really be religious. You just have to believe in a source energy, and that in itself would be considered what the majority. Sometimes people just use words so the majority of the people can understand. Okay. Not everybody is, awake or conscious or spiritual, and not everybody knows what. Oh, so you don't believe in God? Oh, you said you believe in source energy. You have all these different people. So a one universal word that's easy for everybody to understand is what she uses, because it's the most convenient, easy word. Okay. So just kind of remember that before you get into picking apart words. Okay. Because I do that, and I have to stop and think. Because if I did that when I'm trying to interpret the book of Enoch, I wouldn't be able to interpret it. But since I open my mind It works both ways. When you open your mind and you get comfortable and you see, instead of focusing on one word, you see the true message, it's easier to understand. Okay. So, and I did listen because I spoke with her last night and we spoke a long time as well. And I found myself, asking similar questions as some of you guys about certain words she was using, but then I let it sink in and I perfectly understood what she was saying, and it was a lot of it was very profound. So just, we're young, and we like to, hop on things and correct everything, even though it really doesn't need to be corrected. We just need to learn how to interpret and speak and understand each other. We're trying to say the same thing. Okay. Yeah. Thank y'all for watching though. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end this video and I don't know if I need to come back and do another video with you guys. But I'll definitely end this video and keep this one about Sophia Stewart, and I'll just do another video right after. Okay. So y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all later.